This is what I love about having my own show.
So you have two cameras
I can
here.
just disregard everything you're saying.
The landscape and everything in it.
Morty, use that later for your...
I made this list of famous actors.
Write that down.
Famous actors and famous actresses. And I like to go through them all and rank them from 1 to 5. 5 being like legendary and forever great actor, and 1 being like virtually unknown and not well respected. Legendary! Arnold Schwarzenegger? Come on, yo.
I'll agree with that.
Terminator.
Like,
Terminator.
I'll give him a 5. Yeah, he's one of those. Take your day off to hang out with Arnold.
Neal, you got to come hang out with me. We're going to go to the beach. And be like, fuck yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why don't you call me before?
Get in the chopper. Come to me.
He's landing on the building. He's just hanging on to it with a margarita. It's like, we're going to the beach.
Chug this margarita with me.
Should we just skip to the women?
Put him in 5. Put Harrison Ford in 5.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd say 5.
5 Harrison Ford. Let's go to the chicks.
All right, let's do the chicks.
Let's get in.
The chicks have a hot list that I made.
This is going to sound sexist everything from now because we're just
actresses.
It's got to be about their acting ability.
Oh,
Blake Lively. Ooh, that's
the Deadpool.
that's just, bro. That's my celebrity. I get to fuck her. That's yeah, aliens are real.
I agree.
You can fit every single planet in between Earth and the Moon.
That's true too.
100 years. My years.
That's right.
We just talk over each other then. 100 years. Favorite quote. My favorite quote was one Thomas Edison. That's hot. When the light came on. It's like, run the graphic. Yeah, he makes these crazy dioramas. But you know what I liked the most about it was that he's the first time I've ever seen him use these light LED strings. Yeah. And so there's some really cool ones where like he uses the light to illuminate like this one, you know? And this one's pretty badass. So, and he's just funny, like he's cracking jokes the whole time.
Really?
But, oh yeah, I mean like this dude's been doing it for a long time. He has all these Patreon followers and you know, so he like shows you, but you go step by step, and it's like, what is this, 9-minute video? But by the end of it, you know, he's like, he shows you how he builds all this shit. He's like a really good painter.
Really?
So like the coolest thing about it is watching him do all the little paint variations to make it look real. But then he lights it up with these LEDs and just these badass things. You know?
That's fucking dope.
I thought it was cool the way they did the fire. I've never seen anything like that. And you can just set that on your counter. Wouldn't that be cool? I'd love to be able to do that.
Right? Yeah, another thing is I've been watching I just like watching like how it's made. You ever seen how it's made?
I used to have all the seasons.
Love it. Yeah. I like, that's how they make fucking boats? You know, like the fucking, you know, like.
Where are you watching that at now? Where do they have that?
YouTube.
On YouTube too?
YouTube has a How It's Made channel and they upload everything. All the seasons. They're all in there. And in fact, there's other channels. They're like, we're going to do the same thing and it's better.
Right. It's newer and faster.
I even watched fucking videos of people cleaning old fucking dusty fucking machines and stuff like that. Like cool stuff that like they bring it back to like its original state. Where I was like, that's fucking
like restore
dope.
stuff.
Yeah, restore shit. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
It's fucking dope, dude. So dope.
There's so many creative people out there now. And like YouTube is really an amazing place to just...
Yeah. Could you hit record on this?
Yeah. Do we just hit it?
Yeah, just hit it. Bim. There it is. Oh, I hit. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Recording. Boom. Recording.
This is one of these was the first ones I saw, which is funny because of the movie that we were talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah.
So this is the Mario World.
Mario World.
Which that movie made more is already breaking records for animated movie.
No way.
But this is like the painting is incredible.
From the movie.
Yeah,
that's so fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, and he'll like spray paint. Like he's such a good painter.
He makes the highlights with the spray
paint. Right.
That is so cool.
And then when he turns on the LED light string through there, and he shows you how he like puts in the battery box so you can ground it out, and like he shows you how to make it. And then at the end of it, he's got like this cool display thing, and You know, it's just like sick. I'd love to have that on my mantle because this guy's a fucking artist, dude.
Yeah, that is some artist shit.
Is it glowing if it's in her thing?
It's a LED that Neal's
just like oh yeah, it's a LED. I mean, you can watch if you ever want to watch through how he does them all. But you know, he uses light a lot, and I think that's cool because it illuminates the model from inside. So I've been following Boylei Hobby Time a lot.
I like that.
He's definitely a G.
Yeah, for sure.
Boylei Hobby Time. I guess that's his favorite fish, which is like why it's in the title here. It's the Boylei fish. Just some random dude who like has patrons and does all these dioramas.
That's the name of the fish? Boylei?
I guess so.
Boylei.
Taking his word for it.
Women tell truth? Boylei.
Boylei, not you.
Girl tell truth all the time. Boylei.
Is it racist to use these voices?
Lie.
Simpsons face that.
There's the
question.
classic human, or not human, human. I am human. Was it like English? People were like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" Oh, that's right. I'm from the coast. I'm white. It's Keanu Reeves. You know, it's like, like totally,
dude. So the other day, I'm walking back after like parking my car, and there's this guy with long hair like walking down the street. He's holding like a rag or something. I don't know why, but he was like just like twirling around. I thought it was like a ball at first. Thanks, man. And I was like, but so I made conversation with him for a second.
Okay.
Am I okay? Yeah, the beer's not okay.
Is your pride okay?
I can't open the fucking bottle.
And he had like a French accent, you know, but it sounded like fake. And I was like, "Are you fucking with me?" Like I was, you know.
That's what you said to him.
I was a little bit.
Are you fucking with me?
Yeah, I was like,
you really French?
And I realized like he immediately got intimidated, which wasn't my purpose. But I felt like I thought he was fucking with me, you know, because he was like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend live back around the corner." I was like, "This dude's totally doing a fake French accent." I'm like, "You fucking with me, bro?"
No way.
He's like, got all uncomfortable because you know he's visiting the country and some guy that lives there. You fucking with me, bro? Be like if a French guy's like, "Hey, asshole, are you really American?" You're just like, "What?"
Right?
I get. See you later.
What was he asking you for?
Oh, we were just making conversation because
I just bullshit.
Yeah, I just said hey because he was drunk and I was just got off work.
He was drunk. I was high.
Flipping around a handkerchief or whatever. So this guy's definitely not sober.
Tripping balls. It's fun to watch people trip balls. Everybody trips in different ways, you know. Like especially if you know somebody and then you see them trip. Like,
so how was your date, bro?
Act. Nah, you're tripping.
How's your date?
How was your date, bro?
It was cool. We went to Poncho's right down the street from me, and she works at SpaceX.
Oh, the Mexican place.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go back there.
Dude,
place is dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
But the hostess lady gave me like, I was there before. There's like this cute hostess that was there, but she was like, when the date showed up, she was kind of like, all of a sudden made a sour face at me, like, "Oh, this guy." I was just like, because the girl was totally Mexican. Spanish is her first language, and she was, you know, first generation Mexican in America, but she was just really sweet and happy. It was fun. It was a great date.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. How long were you talking to her before you went on a date?
Dude, it was like I'd been on the app for a minute with this chick, but that's like just how it is with all of them. You just let it simmer. You can't rush it because I've rushed it so many times already. But this is like my 4th or 5th date that I've gone on with the app now. It's just like
Bumble.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about dating. It's just like, honestly, when you're single, you want to get in a relationship. And when you're in a relationship, you're trying to find a better relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of like look around and start being like, she's great, but you like nitpick certain things that about them that might not appeal to you, not look like something that you want in your future or whatever. But dating is just, I mean, Grant, you never really dated, huh?
What do you mean? I mean, dated lots. Yeah.
No, well, you've been with
17.
women before, but like you never like gone on a couple dates with different women over the course of maybe a month or so, and then been like, okay, you know, because I feel like I've gone to hundreds of dates, and you know, some of them
on like 30 at the most.
He had told me last time that he definitely thought
I know you.
It was like over 100, right? Last time we talked, and then you were like, I think you scaled it back, and you're like, okay, definitely over 50.
Yeah. That definitely over 50.
Maybe
but if I had
over 50, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe that's already pushing it.
Really?
I haven't seen you go out 50 times with girls. Like
over the course of years, over my whole life.
Just saying,
not
like,
just
I've only
like,
really seen you start like trying to actively dating, like maybe last 2 years, and you've gone on maybe like in last year you've gone on like maybe 15 dates. So like maybe the last year it was 10 or 15, so that's 30, and then your whole rest of your life, like you did not date as much as you have the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but
so
like
maybe you went on 20 or 30 dates. So maybe 50 to 60, maybe 40 to 50.
Okay.
I'll give you 40 to 65. You get that buffer.
Okay.
High end, 65.
I mean, a shit ton of dates is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
you'd be dating.
I'm paraphrasing.
You know, at
You're
least
a serial
enough,
dater.
At least enough now not to feel awkward, which I feel was like accomplished. That was good.
I still feel nervous though.
Yeah. Like you always get a little bit, especially if you really want to make a good impression.
Yeah.
I just mean, like now having been on so many dates, like I'm really actually grateful this whole thing happened because I think it's great for our generation too and the next generation because I certainly always had trouble approaching and talking to women in public, but now going out with lots of women, it's like second nature. When you see a girl that's cute, you just start making conversation because they'll either respond positively and engage because you're being a nice person and they're attracted to you, or they'll just not. And it's like, before I was always worried about what was going to happen. Now I just realized there's a lot more steps before you get what you're after anyways as a man. So you might as well just fucking deal with those first couple bullshit steps over and over until it gets comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially first dates, you know.
First dates are especially when you're like been talking with each other for a while and you get a sense of them, you know, like, oh, this person's cool, you know, like they're funny. I haven't met that many women that make me laugh over text. It's more of like I made them laugh and their response happens to be humorous, you know. They've never like actually made something like really funny that I like rarely. So I'm always like the one that's engaging in that sense where it like kind of makes sense, you know. But
you're driving all the ha-has.
Yeah, not to like pull on my own chain, but yeah, you know. And
that's because you're a funny guy. Most women are like, you know.
I think that's my only good attribute.
It's harder for women to be funny, I think, because I just like that's why there's so many more male comedians. I think it's just because men are so logically inclined that we can see a lot more gaps in our own logic and in other people's logic and make fun of it in a way that heals it without being like so attached to it. But there's some funny women. Just they're not lighthearted enough sometimes.
Yeah, usually funny women get picked up right away. I would say. Funny women find other guys.
Like, do you know any female comedians that you're like, oh yeah, she's hilarious?
Amy Wong. You
like her?
Yeah, when she was pregnant.
I mean, just at all. She's sassy. Like
I saw. I think we're talking about the same person. Was she pregnant and she did a special?
Yeah. She did.
I like that she was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna make a baby and I'm gonna make a special. I don't give a fuck. That's some baller shit right there. Yeah, that's like respect. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And
anytime a woman's making a baby and they're working, I'm like, oh, you're doing two things. That's multitasking. You know what I mean? Like
Nikki Glassman's pretty funny.
Make another
Or Glacier. Is it Glacier? Nikki Glacier.
I have no idea.
She's pretty funny.
Yeah.
She's this skinny blonde chick. She's always on all the roasts, and she's done a couple of stand-up specials.
Yeah, there are a couple good ones, especially. Yeah.
To be a good female comic, you either have to have stuff that's very specifically relatable to women, to have that women niche, like if you're trying to be specifically a female comic for females, or if you're trying to get a big audience, you gotta be, I think, kind of have like a guy's sense of humor, which is like sassy and brash and bold and in your face. Like it's gotta like be the opposite of what you think a woman comic would be, which is like emotional and sensitive. It's like, no, like you gotta be sharp and pungent, and it's like being the opposite of what you expect makes it funny. So I think those from the female comics that I've seen that have really stood out to me, that I'm like, okay, these girls are genuinely making me laugh. They have a degree of sincerity in their sassiness and in their boldness and in the way they approach their comedy. They're not afraid to just be in your face, and they're not afraid to make fun of themselves either. Like they don't have I don't say they don't have a filter, but they know how to like remove that filter and just be nasty and be, in your face kind of thing. I think that in your face comedy coming from a woman ends up being funny for female comics. Oh, there's a couple of them out there for sure that I think hit.
But why do you think in general, just off the top of your heads, that there's so many more men in the field?
I think men have more to struggle through and more to prove than women do. I feel like men need to earn their respect and women kind of lose their respect as they age. Because I feel like women, and I've mentioned this several times before, they're most valuable the younger they are. And men are more valuable the older they are because they have more time to accumulate a legacy or wealth or some type of name for themselves.
Right. In historical, traditional gender roles, all that stuff. Because now the playing field is at least open to both sides. It's like a woman who's dedicated to her career and actually being a CEO on a large scale can accumulate more wealth than a man. And there's lots of women that are more wealthy than all of us. So it's like, my point is just because it's been traditionally the other way, it's like now a woman can add value to herself her whole life. So it's actually more empowering. No, for sure. But it's still so rare.
I mean, by the factor of OnlyFans, there's more wealthy women that are beautiful out there than ever before.
I support. That's single-handedly bringing down violence.
I mean, honestly, a really hot chick working at a regular job is being harassed so much. You know what I mean? Like there's a girl at my work that is the only hot chick in the whole department, and we're security, so we're like zooming in. It's like, what's up, girl? You know what I mean? Like, all the other women are like not bad, but she is particularly like beautiful, And if she made her own OnlyFans, I'll be like, respect. You should make some money. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. I mean, why hate on it, really?
I don't. I certainly don't. I still wouldn't ever pay for it, but
I wouldn't do it either.
They can make money that way because
I'm just not that demographic. Yeah. There's certain level of dignity I have for myself, and I feel like if you explore too much of that realm, you get caught up in it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh shit, there's this hot chick, but this chick makes really funny fucking videos.
Well, I would just never pay for anything that that serves that purpose anyways. It's like the only time I did was when I couldn't have the internet and I needed to get a magazine and be like off the grid for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Which I did get caught for that in the Army a couple times, having porno mags. And it's like, I was never embarrassed. I was like, fuck. What are you guys thinking about? All the other guys that we're currently working and living with? I'm trying to look at some other things.
Exactly. And I'm sure they confiscated it and then they used it themselves.
They wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. The one time it got found in Mississippi, the guy came out and threw it on the ground.
The fuck is
and
this?
It was like, who's this? Come and grab this. You know who you are. And I walked out. I was like, oh. He's just like, yeah. He's like trying to put as much shame as he could on me. And I was like, never. Shit. None of that shame's landing. Zoop, 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 zoop. I was like, thanks.
Oh, was that my movie magazine?
Yeah,
bro,
exactly. Like,
I remember when I was young and my cousin found a porno mag somewhere. Like in a bush, like for real. And we were like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And we looked at it, it's like, ew, because we were like really young. We were like maybe 10 years old, maybe younger. I was probably 10. He was probably like 13. And we're like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Somebody must have left it somewhere. And it wasn't a good, and it was like the 70s or 80s. So it's bush. It was just bush everywhere.
Good old 90s magazine.
Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, you kind of like wonder, and then like there's close-up shots where like, what the fuck?
But ever since those days, it's like when the internet started doing its thing, it's like, well, you could pay for that. I guess if there's somebody you really like and want to support, and if you're an older dude, but like, I don't know. I never got into it. Personally.
Yeah, but there's also the factor of there are more wealthy men in the world. Like, the wealthiest people are mostly men, which is crazy. But I feel like now it's becoming more spread out in terms of gender. But it all, like, it's hearsay. You know what I mean? Like, same goes with, like, the whole debate of, like, oh, women get paid less than men do because of this and that. And I'm like, well, women take different professions, period. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that argument is arguing that women get paid less for the same exact job, which has been proven. So it's not like you can argue against it. But
I mean, specific jobs, yes.
What do you mean?
But in the whole globe of all jobs, most men do harder jobs that should get paid more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, so I still subscribe to the Jordan Peterson model where he talks about, like, I understand the feminist movement and I support it. I'm a feminist in that sense. But, like, mostly men are in prison. Mostly, we're not talking about majorities. Mostly men are trash collectors and all the dangerous jobs in the world, you know? So it's like, yes, women want to be able to have this level of access to the business C-class, you know, or C-suite or whatever executive level positions because of their intelligence, and the ones that can climb that go for it. And there's other ways to get there. But his argument is just that there's this entire history of men that have provided all these services to create this infrastructure that has allowed business to even be a thing. So if women want to come now play the game, then at the very least, they have to acknowledge that, yeah, they're not going to be able to just step into that role and get treated equal because businessmen are cultivated from a large or really long lines of, you know, educated people that are passing the information down and allowing their kids to go to Ivy League schools and walk into these roles because, oh, you went to the right place, you know the right people. It's like the work itself isn't that difficult in terms of managing these large companies because you have other people doing it for you. So.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, like at my work, like the CEO hardly shows up. And when she does show up, it's just a couple hours and then she bails. You know what I mean? Like she could literally run the whole place by of the whole facility I work at.
Right,
yeah, like it's crazy. And she's super shy. She's friendly, but super shy. It's like, hi, and then leaves. You know what I mean?
See you later.
She's not like actively looking to see if we're doing shit right. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's not her job. She's not going to keep up on you guys.
Yeah, of course. But like, she doesn't even ask questions. Like, hey, what does this do? And what is, you know, how come?
Hey, what does
guys...
this do? Oh, that's,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Why is it here? You know what I mean? Like there was.
Hey, what does this do? That's a watch.
That's a sign saying stop.
I appreciate it.
Well, bye guys. She has a couple questions.
I was like, all right.
Drives right through. What does this do? It's supposed to stop you from.
Exactly.
That's a wall.
Have you had any crazy stories at that place recently?
I mean, just
kids freaking out.
I mean, we are a mental health institution for children and families.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get crazy people. You know, one of the kids are like special needs kind of kids, or he has just mental issues. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. He destroyed the guard booth.
Oh,
he literally shattered all the glass.
So
he picked up a stop sign that we just had next to the guard booth.
About that.
He fucking shattered every
inside?
window. And I was in there, and he was like ramping up, and I was like, "Don't do it." And then he's like, "I don't give a shit, bro." And then he as he was swinging, I got the fuck out of there, dude. It just happened to shatter all over my pants, but I was far enough to where like it wasn't.
He literally attacked you. Did you guys file
in a
suit?
way. In a way,
no,
but
I mean he did. He shattered glass on you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Something
but
in your direction.
He is not all there.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like
so what happened?
I mean, I was fine. I just got away from him. Obviously, he destroyed the guard booth, and then his brother showed up, and then he just jumped to the ground. Or he like stepped down to the ground. He got on his knees and laid completely on the ground. When his brother showed up.
His actual physical brother.
But after like 30, after 35 right, after 35 minutes of him just destroying everything, he was trying to destroy everything. You know, like he was just pissed about whatever. I don't know, and I was like, dude, like calm down, you know. But like you couldn't do it. And the crazy thing is that they have staff. You know, the staff were supposed to step in.
So his brother came from off campus.
Yeah. As soon as he was acting up, the protocol is call the parent and see if they can show up and de-escalate the situation. Because oftentimes the staff does the best they can, but if the kid is adamant about it. Yeah, for sure.
Fucking insane.
They have to bring some exterior force to like mitigate the especially family members are usually the trustworthy.
Right, because this is a halfway house for kids that are like trying to get a juvie. Not going to juvie. So it's like if you fuck up here, you're going back to juvie. Mm-hmm. So they're like, parents probably show up and they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Sometimes the parents are as fucked up as the kids.
Dude, almost. Yeah, how could that ever not be true?
Yeah. The kids, the parents are almost more fucked up.
Where do the kids go at the end of the day?
They're only there contractually by the government because usually the government takes the kids away because the parents aren't qualified to house the kids. And there are other cases where like the kid is so destructive that the parents like need some exterior force, like the government.
So wait, the kids are sleeping there overnight?
Yeah, we have now 3 residential units, and it's an 18-acre facility with 25 plus. Is that buildings.
The majority of the students?
So 3 of the buildings of the 25 I'm talking about is for just residential, and then another 5 buildings is for school.
But
and then
like, what's the majority of the students? Are did they stay there all the time, or the majority?
Oh no, the students. You mean for the school? Yeah. No. So sometimes the people that stay in the kids that stay in the unit, they get taught in the same unit.
Oh, but the majority of the students come from outside of the school.
Regarding the school, they're just of the neighborhood or they are special needs kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! I didn't center this softbox. I need to center it.
Do it.
Fucking up.
Yeah.
So, you know what I realized you need to do, or should do, or could do, is that if you're sitting here, we're always looking at you and each other. The cameras are pointed towards the face that is not even seeing us. Like you got to put the cameras over here, or position like make it so that the cameras are actually getting our face.
I totally agree.
You know what I mean?
And
like
I like to do that, but this room is not giving us the amount of room we need. And oftentimes, you are looking at me, and I think that's fine. I think
that's fine. Matter of fact, just turn all the way around.
Just face me and sit down there.
The audience only needs to see my face. Like,
I put the TV over there for when we're watching something, so it improves that factor. But when you're speaking to me strictly, I don't give a shit if they see your face or not. Like that's your shit. I mean, if you're not gonna be an actor,
it makes you like a very hosting position. But like, how else would you do it in this thing?
How else did you do it?
I would move these to here, right, and then camera. You have room right here for a camera. You got room for their camera.
That's what you think.
You position the light so that light hits us and you.
The lenses are not wide enough.
The main on you, and then the camera.
The lenses are not wide enough. Like honestly, I wish they need to be wide so you can see everything. And sometimes when you're that close,
mid-shot, you have the master. Mid-shot.
What it is this is also showing.
Oh, and here, there's also
right here.
If you remember,
this is also showing. Each angle is also showing, or is it just us?
It's just us.
That is just you.
Okay.
And that is just him.
That's what I'm saying.
And there's 2 cameras over there.
You got the light.
I gotta agree with Grant on this one against. I know it's gonna irritate you.
I don't disagree.
And I would even say keep the lights where they are. Keep the lights where they are.
Well, keep the lights attached to the stands.
I don't even mind the lights. They always say, as far as film, you want to shoot from the shadow. So if you had a camera over here shooting our shadow side, like that acts as key light, and this acts as fill, and even that acts as fill up there, then this camera is going to have a nice contrast on both of us. For where, like, because right now you have a little bit of shadow on your right side. Is my right, your left, your left's cheek?
I see what you're saying. Keep the lights. But then you need something else to hold the cameras up.
Yeah, we have stands. But that's just my opinion. You could try and see if it looks good at all.
I completely disagree because of the 180 concept of filming. Do you remember that? The rule, that 180 rule?
But you break that every time you go between Grant and me.
No, because 180 means anything on that side of us.
Oh, I see.
So if you're recording here and you're shooting this way, it kind of turns in the edit. You're like, where is the camera then? Is it over here? Why is it over here? Why isn't like the perspective of the audience needs to be from one angle in relation to the group. Like, if we were 4 people, it would make sense that I have a camera over here, camera over there, camera over there, camera over here, and shooting diagonally, and then a master shot. But because it's only 3 of us, this works perfectly. Ideally, I like to have the camera right over Neal's shoulder, so you can get more of your face. But because this room doesn't allow enough space to maneuver, and
you're totally right.
guests move around all the time. And because they need to move around all the time, I need to get a wide shot so they can have the freedom to still be in frame and move around as much as they want. Because I can't predict what they're going to do. So the biggest problem is the tighter the shot, the less mobility the guests have. And if I don't get them in frame, then I honestly need to use the fucking shot without them in the frame. You know, like, or shoot to another, like a reaction shot or something, you know? It's not an ideal, that's not the best way I could do it. I really do feel like these need to move up right next to you guys, and then it'll be a more solid directional shot versus what I got going on right now. But it's a work in progress, honestly.
It would be better. It would be better than what it is now.
It could be a compromise.
But, yeah, I would definitely... try it. I would
like
try
right
it
over the shoulder.
I would try it. I mean, if you've never even tried it yet, I would set it up.
The thing is
and
that the master shot would get the cameras in the shot.
Then maybe
because Mario, you're like holding like a UN meeting right now.
Oh, because you got one as your close up.
You're like the head of the
there's
of the
one
podcast. You like sit at the head of the table. And you're like, you will listen to.
It is my show.
I know.
It's my show.
And only us giving you notes is never gonna happen. The surefire way to change it. But I do like. I hear what you're saying in terms of right over the shoulder because I can see you pretty square on here.
I mean, like, even if I did right over the shoulder, you're going to see the camera from the other shot, which I don't want to accomplish. I don't want to do.
And you, as a podcaster, you don't care about the mics ever being in the shot, right? Because no one seems to care about that. But that always bothers me a little bit. I'd much rather have everybody laughed up if it was my show. Yeah.
I've just got some of those ones that you clip on right here. I just got, they're super cheap. I got some for $50. Nice. And pretty good. That actually hook up straight to the 3-pawn plug.
The XLR one?
XLR, yeah.
Yeah.
And they sound great. Nice. I honestly do like the sound. But in the edit, it's not that deep. It's not that clear. It's not that precise.
These are great.
I don't get that great that scale of mobility. They're like very narrow, you know. Mm-hmm. Versus these are $400 mics.
Yeah. So what's the ranking? What's the best one on these? Is that one better than these two?
This one's super sensitive. So I really, when I speak up, I gotta move back. But this one too has been peaking. Those are actually in a lower state. The RE20 that Grant gave away, is really good because it's really soft. But it gets a real good depth of the voice. Mm-hmm. But honestly, most people can't pick up on the quality of the sound. Mm-hmm. As long as they can bring up their volume and they can hear you, that's all they care about, honestly. And a big thing about the edit, when I put it into the system, into the computer, and I'm editing it, is that as we come and go and get closer and go further and move around, I gotta fucking adjust all the volume and clear it up because...
Which is something I learned in the documentary is because, like, you really don't want to be annoying to people in any sense, but when you're shooting and they're coming over to be part of your project, but like I'm excited to do a real movie because then you can be like, oh no, we need to do that again because we didn't get levels because people would be talking to somebody on the other side of the room and they'd be like, and I'd be like trying to get a good soundbite out of it and it just sucks because you gotta be like peeking, drag it all the way down.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, don't.
And then background sound and stuff,
you know,
just like
never ending.
But then it's like, it's your own preference. It's your own rules you're setting up for yourself. You could just be like, fuck it, you know, like this happened. There's something I can do really about it. Yeah. And this is what it is. This is real. Real constitutes not very great quality. So I'm trying to get as close as good quality as I can. And then hopefully over time I can build more out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I see what you're saying. I don't really like going past the 180 rule, because it really does make things look weird.
I think that just has to do with film and scenes. That doesn't apply too much as broadcasting, because like if you look at any broadcast, for the most part, they'll cut to a green screen, they cut to a whole different room. The shot is the shot. Like for film, you are trying to tell a specific story. There's like you're trying to unfold a scene, and when you're unfolding a scene, you need the audience to be able to follow that scene. But here, you're not trying to tell a scene. You're just trying to get the information and match the video to whatever somebody's trying to communicate, the audio. And so as long as you have a solid shot of the person saying something, it's like shooting somebody here and then in Zimbabwe or in Australia. Why do people always use Zimbabwe as a reference? Zimbabwe.
I've never heard that as a reference.
Yeah, I never heard
First
that
time
as a reference.
I like that you did.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
I like
New
that you're giving them credit. Shout out.
Zimbabwe.
You gaslighting us, Grant? You're like, how come people always use Zimbabwe?
Yeah, right.
I hear that so often.
But anyways,
what made you make that conclusion?
That's also
because it's about the information versus trying to unfold a story. So like the 180 rule is being used because when you cut from 180 shot to behind that 180, the audience isn't necessarily going to know what's going on in the scene because they see somebody moving or see somebody acting in a certain way. And then when you're trying to follow the action, and I think there is the important term is when you're trying to follow the action of a scene, you don't want to break that 180 rule because it's harder for the audience to follow that action. If we're all seated here, it doesn't matter where you shoot from as much as it matters that you're getting the shot of the individual sitting there and them actually speaking, like a clear, tight shot. You could cut from any angle, boom, 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 around from back behind you, from any angle of any one of us, as long as we're seated still and it's whatever you want the camera to see. That's what's important because nobody's going to get confused on the scene. There is no scene here. It's just us sitting here talking.
Wouldn't you admit too that like even in movies now, the 180 rule gets broken a lot? Like I like that's the thing that you're deciding is the reason for it because that's necessary, but it is your reason. I mean, like the 180 rule gets broken all the time and people can still follow. The audience is
especially in a podcast that's 3 hours long. It's like you're going to realize, okay, they're all sitting in a room together, and you'll figure out where everyone's seated.
But I hear you about it'll be in the corner of the shot. I get that. The camera will be, you'll definitely see some of the cameras. That's another thing you're trying to avoid.
The master shop's definitely going to pick up the cameras. Like, there's no way you can hide the master shop.
Make it look good. So get a floating shelf, put 2 floating shelves at same level, and then get 2 little stands that like are little pancake stands to where the camera can just be seated on that shelf. And then you can even put those cameras inside something if the shelf is big enough, like a tissue box or something else decorative, and you make it look pretty. A gold lace whatever box, a mirror box,
This is what I love about having my own show.
So you have 2 cameras here.
I can just disregard everything you're saying.
Yeah. All I'm saying if that's your excuse is that they're going to be in the shot, you can find a way around to where you make it look good in the shot.
I see what you're saying, but I still completely disagree. Yeah. Because I honestly wish I had a warehouse and I could just fucking make these fucking 2 cameras way the fuck out there where you can't even see them.
All
and
DSLRs.
Zoom in.
Yeah, totally.
Like the 75 to 200 millimeter lenses, like zoomed in on us, all like closed up, and then a nice master shot with everything that you can see, and then boom, like there is no argument on how good it looks.
Think about what's that round table talk that they always do with like where you see all those different actors like Shia LaBeouf. What? That's the best thing ever. I know you've seen that, right?
Too many people.
I love them.
Too many people.
I agree with that too. But also,
what is it called?
Round table talks.
Round table talking.
Yeah, you just said that.
Is that what it's called? Round table?
I don't know. But regardless,
but
I know what you mean.
What I'm talking about. Yeah. Like that. I think that stuff is so cool. Same kind of thing with what you're saying is like they're all shooting from the shadows and only the actors are lit. Yeah. And so it's like for me that I love that type of energy because it doesn't matter where the camera's shooting from. It's like everyone's just communicating with each other and they just all have like cameras on them. It's like I love that. That's how I would want to shoot a podcast too.
THR,
and their cameras are crazy good.
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter, isn't that who does it?
I don't remember.
But it is like a stage.
Dude, I've been watching GQ the channel on YouTube of actors talking about their films and what it took to make them and shit. And oh my God, you get so much insight on like how they were being portrayed after a film and how they got out of it by making another good film. You know what I mean? Like, and now they're like superstars, you know, like, is it not Christian Bale. What's his name? The Batman from Dark Knight? Christian Bale, right?
So young.
I don't know what that meant, but whatever.
You said funny words in a funny accent. I love it.
Right. And
that's very funny.
Somebody at my work, because like Super Mario Brothers was like, they should make a Street Fighter movie, and I was like, dude, they did that shit with Van Damme. I was like, Google that. They're like, oh shit, it already exists. It's like live action.
He showed me the live action version of Mario, and I thought I was in a different universe, dude. I was like, "There's no way! I'd never seen that."
John Leguizamo,
Mario
John Leguizamo, dude. I was like, "No way, bro!" I was like, "Dude,
they tried."
I was like, "Dude, you are Mandela affecting me right now." Never once,
yeah, slightly, bro.
Never once
affecting you. Keep using
did you see
never once
the new one?
The new Mario?
Yeah.
You
guys saw it together?
Or no, me and my girl saw it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He saw it with his girl too.
Oh, nice. I saw it with Ethan.
There you go. Your girl.
He
set that up. He set that up. We had to say it.
Low hanging fruit, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of which,
gotta pick those up at least. You know what I mean?
Easy money.
But once Neal gets back, I wanted to talk about this folder I just made about when I was telling you about a list of these actors
that you would date.
Yeah. Like the hot ones, and then the legendary ones.
These are all the guys that you would date every day?
Yeah, for sure. So if we go to the male actors, famous actors, and then you bring up the first screenshot, you see Adam Sandler's, dude. So out of the...
I guess we can all just sit this way, huh?
Ideally, if you want to be an actor and you want to show your face and portray yourself as a good orator, you would try to like model to the camera rather than trying to like, I want to look at you and you should put the camera over here because I'm an actor. You should listen to me.
I like talking to you, I guess. Yeah, like we're talking.
You like looking at me. We're like,
I like looking in your eyes and seeing the bullshit. I don't need to see your face.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I
want to look at you when you're talking shit.
But I made a long list of famous actors, and then I did a screenshot of them, and IMDb has this ranking. You see this ranking you see on the top right corner?
Yeah.
It says top 500 plus. I guess that up little arrow is 11. So what that means, I looked it up. It's If we go back,
number 11.
If we go back and we look at this, nope, that's not it. This right here. So, how are these rankings calculated? IMDb uses property algorithms, priority algorithms that take into account several measures of popularity from the people, titles, and companies. The primary measure is who and what people are looking at on IMDb. The rankings are updated on the weekly basis, typically by the end of Monday. So that's what this means, So you go back to Adam Sandler's. It just happened to be at that time. Adam Sandler's is sweet. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sponsored by Trader Joe's. Alkaline.
Oh yeah, is that Trader Joe's? Yeah, that's pretty cool, bro.
Get the alkaline water.
Costco has Trader alkaline Joe's. Water too, and this size, and they're like literally $8. It's fucking
so
legit.
Long and perfectly cylindrical
thick for you.
Yeah, this is a very thick bottle.
Just your size, Grant.
Dude,
just
imagine this thickness. Just that would be
this thickness.
That would be a tough night.
So you know what I get? Oh man, you're actually talking about that. You know what?
I know, right?
I get drink this much water in a night. It'd be hard.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be It's a lot of water.
Hard for me.
It's a lot of water. It's a lot of water to ingest.
I got them in that size because the cup holders. It's cup holders.
Oh, right.
There's
weird how the cup holder thing is a thing. Dude, the big gulp in fucking 7-Eleven or whatever is comparable to a big gulp. It doesn't fit in the cup holder. We're like, you're so fucked because you're carrying this giant thing. You got to drive, and if you have a manual, you're fucked. There's like either drive or the big gulp.
I wonder what the first car was to ever have a cup holder. Mm-hmm. Some guy's like, you're not putting a cup holder in my automobile. And the guy's like, nah, dude, this is gonna.
Not only that, but like the circumference, the diameter of a cup. Easy. Who decide that? You know what I mean?
The diameter, right? Of how big that thing should be.
Have you ever invented those little flappy things that will like
pressurize
give a little tension?
Oh, I have those.
Or the little rubber things. Yeah, little rubber flappy things
to keep it. Like if you get a really small cup, it helps.
Something small, but is still.
And it's got a spring, so it can push out and come in. Yeah, smart.
Oh, you got a nice one.
Oh, I happen to wear
nice cup.
I got one.
It didn't come with your car. Let's say.
No. It comes with the car.
Oh, does it?
Aftermarket.
Right. So you seen the ones back in the day that like would go on like the truck console before they had cup holders? And I remember my dad had one, and it was like it had like these latches, and you go, and you could like put whatever cup size you needed in that bitch, and like it was like fucking huge.
I think that
Dude, I even saw my uncle had that one that you stick in the windshield, and it sticks out, and then you can put your drink on it, like real old school, like 90s, 80s shit.
It's just, it didn't even have a bottom, huh? It's just
back when you had to roll your windows down.
It was just like a clamp. It was just like a clamp that swung out, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so, the thing is right there.
I feel like my dad had those in all his trucks. I remember.
For sure. My
uncle window hanger too. One?
Yeah, the one that would come out. Like, I remember him, like, we would, like, be doing construction jobs, and he would, like, flip those out, and we would, like, be at Taco Bell or something, and we'd put our drinks in there.
He did have those too.
Yeah.
Which, did you know Dad went back in the hospital?
Oh, shit. Yeah, what's going on with your dad, bro?
He went back in the hospital. What do you mean? For what?
I guess he had chest pains again. He just went back in the hospital. He hasn't texted me since. It was a couple days ago.
What? He didn't text me at all. What do you mean? He just has chest pains?
I was trying to call him a bunch of times over the course of the last couple of weeks just because I hadn't heard from him. Like, when did he have the heart attack? It was a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, he had a heart attack, right?
27th or so.
Yeah.
February 22nd.
Yeah, how did that go?
It was the end of February.
Because it was like a thing. He was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And he just stopped his work. And so I need you to drive to the hospital. And he had a heart attack.
So he was working with a friend, I guess, in their backyard. And he kept laying down to do something. I forget what they were doing. He was organizing something or cleaning up something. And he had laid down to do this thing. And he kept feeling like intense pressure in his chest. And so he'd get back up. And then it would go away. And then lay back down. And then he was just like, man. And he had said, when I talked to him most recently, that he had about a full month or two where he had felt like a lot of pressure in his body, like his upper body, just in terms of like blood, like he could feel the tension, and that's why it's hypertension, because it's your blood, whatever. And so by the time that happened, he was laying down, and he just knew like something was going to happen. So he'd asked the guy that he was working with if he had any aspirin, because that's supposed to thin your blood and help in those emergency moments. And so by then, I guess it had gotten so bad that he was like, okay, we need to, do we need to go to the hospital? And even though just because he asked him that, he was like, well, I guess we should. Then, if it's that serious or we're even asking, like, you should probably go. So then they went, and then Dad, I think, lost consciousness on the drive over, or was like really sucking, and then he got checked in. What did he say? He was sucking, and he got checked in. I think first my older brother told me that he died in the car ride over, and they revived him there, but that's not what Dad told me. Dad told me that he drove all the way there, and they were like trying to urgently get into ER, and one of the person who was checking him in was like all slow about it, and then his buddy was like told the nurse or somebody walked by like, this guy's going in cardiac arrest, and so they fucking put him on a gurney or whatever, or whatever they call those things, those beds, and took him in, and he said that's where he remembers just waking back up, and the nurse was like shaking him, and she was like, hey, you're back. And so like the fact that happened, like he remembers going on the bed to go into the room to get his heart looked at, and then she's like, they brought him back to life because his heart stopped. And so that's crazy to think about, like there was no time in between that for him. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because that's how it felt when I was under, but notwithstanding. So then they
did he tell you he had a vision?
No.
Dude, he told me he had a vision, but he won't tell me what it is.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was like.
But he's like really religious, right?
That's why.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I saw something.
Oh yeah.
I saw
when I was over there. Like, I know it's personal
Heaven.
to tell you this, like, but like either way, like, you know, I doubt Dad's gonna watch this, but if he does, whatever. But like, obviously, he didn't tell me anything though. But
he did tell you that he saw something.
Yeah, he said he had a vision. He's like, yeah, I had a vision.
Oh.
He said, and I was like, dang, well, you know. And he's like, and I was like, do you want to share it? He's like, no. He's like, it's a little personal.
No, I can't tell you about life after death, Grant. He didn't tell me that shit. He said he just fucking woke up, and the fact that there was like no time between was the trippiest thing about it. So maybe we heard different stories.
Essentially, when I was over there with him, he was saying like, he was like, I had a vision. Where he's like, I didn't know that it was a vision. He's like, but when I woke up, I remembered something, and I remember seeing and essentially speaking with somebody. So like, essentially, I'm guessing he's talking about God. And he was like,
better be talking about God.
Talking about God. He was talking
to
leprechaun. Oh, leprechaun James.
Or the end of the rainbow.
Once you die, you meet leprechaun James. And James is like, well, welcome to the afterlife.
What's your favorite color?
And then he tells you a coin.
Yeah. But, no, so he told me he had a... Irish Jesus. No, he told me he had a vision, but yeah.
Trailer Park Jesus is like, hey, bro. His dad's like, no, fuck. Not Trailer Park Jesus. Damn it. This is the worst one. He's like, nah, bro. He's got tats all over his shit. You need to love your brother, bro.
Out.
You need to love you like you love yourself. He's like, no. So then what happened? So he had this crazy vision?
But no, that's the only thing. Yeah, he had told me he had a vision, but he wouldn't tell me it. And I was like, well, if you ever want to share it someday, you know, I'd love to hear about it. And he's like, yeah, maybe I'll tell you sometime. It's like, okay. Cool. So I just left it at that. He's very stoic, you know.
I call bullshit on that, Dad. Not on you, Grant. I believe that he told you that. I want to tell my dad like that's not what she told me, motherfucker.
But don't you think that sometimes
it's like a week later, it's like, and then I remember talking to God, and God was holding this coffin. It's like your brain will do that later. When you wake up, you gotta trust. I don't know when did you first talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, he told me that on a car ride that we had coming from some house because we were moving back and forth.
Right during the move.
Yeah, during the move. Mm. And so it was like
days had passed.
2 weeks afterwards. Yeah. So
wonder, brain is crazy things. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's like you could have had a dream that night or the night after or whatever, because you know, and then you like it's so close to that event,
it blends together.
Your brain's like, yeah, oh yeah, I had this crazy dream, and that must have been that night or that moment that I had. Who knows? You know.
So the end of the story, end of the ER story is that's cool to know. I'll ask him about it. I'll plug him for
Tell me, hey,
how did you hear that? Did you do that? What did God say? How did you know? I can't die without knowing it. Just kill him. Like,
was I wrong?
Anyways, so he said that then he woke back up and he was awake for the next part. And they took him into this other room where I forget what machinery it was, but they put a stent in. So they went in through his wrist, and this is like, you know, essentially telescopic, really small wire that goes in, you know, went all the way up to his heart and put a little pipe in there to clear the blockage that was creating the pressure. And he said once that he must have told you all this too then.
Yeah, I just didn't know how a stent was put in. But yeah.
And then he just felt like the pressure released, like all that pressure that had been building up. So now he's back
But what happened? I mean, to get to the current stage, so you say he's back in the hospital. What happened?
I don't know. I called him a couple times last week and this week, and it was like he didn't call back. I left a message or a text. I'm like, hey, let me know how you're doing. Just checking in. And then the only thing he said was this.
So he texted you he's in the hospital? Because like even while we were there, he was doing checkups at the hospital. So like checkups make sense. But like if he's in the hospital, that's a whole other story. I want to know why he's in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you can.
So this is Tuesday. He had texted me like Sunday, and he was just like texting me cool shit that he found that he wanted to share with me, and I was like, "Oh, cool, about movies." And then 12.
It's Thursday today.
Right, so that was Sunday. He was texting like no big deal, nothing had changed. He was on the mend.
The 13th.
And then Tuesday he said I had called him a couple times since then, or at least once, and he said, "Sorry, I missed your call. I went to the ER this afternoon due to chest pains. They're keeping you in the hospital overnight for observation." That was Tuesday. And then after I said sorry, blah blah blah, he said, "Thanks, should know more tomorrow." And I haven't heard from him since Tuesday.
Shit.
So that was like,
dang. Have you texted him since then though?
No, I've been waiting for him to text me, but I'll hit him back up.
Or
hit
him soon, right?
Back to the ER.
Because if he spent the night Tuesday night, then for sure we should it's been 2 days. So yeah, if he's still in the hospital, that's scary.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know. Yeah. I've been back to the ER.
So crazy how that happens. Know. I mean,
should we text him?
I guess it's just human nature.
On the podcast.
It's like, hey,
we should, right?
How are you?
We should. That's.
Sure, I don't care.
I think so.
And you're looking at me like, is that all right?
It's like an Eric Andre segment. Text him on the podcast.
I want to know.
I figured he'd hit up his.
Granted, it's what 9 o'clock there now.
I mean, like the fact that Brenda or Jules hasn't said anything. It's like I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. He's in good hands. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
He knows I care. If he wants to talk, I don't want to bug him. Like, hey, how's it going? I hit him up.
Does your
But families are different. Some people like to talk every day.
I know. I can't do it. I can't do it. But I hope your dad pulls through and gets better, man. For sure.
Do you think there's an afterlife, Mario?
An afterlife? I think so. I think there is some type of after this.
What's it? What
is it? I think this is all a simulation. I think we're gonna be the Morty that takes off the. I lived a whole life. I had a family, and remember? It's like, yeah, it sucks. And Rick is like, yeah, it sucks. It's from 2020 or whatever. Like,
Roy.
Yeah, I forget what he says, but I think there is something afterwards. If you ask me, is it like heaven? Is it like all your favorite places, all your families there and everything like that? I don't think so. I think that the world, the energy we come from that gives us our consciousness is derived from a very like complex set of concepts or connections that your brain is making. I mean, just by knowing that you can kind of like something that Neal said on the last podcast is that if somebody hits you over the head hard enough, you're no longer you anymore. You kind of like lose the part of you that made you. You know what I mean? Like you could be a mental health patient all of a sudden, like if a boxer, you ever seen those boxer videos where like they get hit in the back of their head and then like a week later they're like not there anymore, they're like they can't box and stuff, they're just
or even scarier, you could just have a stroke and suffer the same fate. So it's like you never know,
like the very complex mechanisms that make you is honestly like a machine. And if you fucking go into there and mix around the wires, you get a whole new thing. And it's not operating like you used to be. You know what I mean? And that happens to be something that I think is very special. And it's so interesting how humans can develop or operate in the way they do. And I think that's a mystical thing that the universe has bestowed on us to observe itself in some way, because we're not detached from the universe, but we also see it as not part of us. We see it as this external thing, and we observe it and we analyze it and call it the universe. I mean, it's also language. It's also like these concepts we made up to understand the world, which it's hard to think that we can just be like, oh yeah, there's definitely a Jesus that's going to be waiting for me after I die.
Well, let me tell you what I think. I think that the afterlife still exists. It's this. You're just not there as a consciousness. Like we're saying, you hit with a lead pipe in the head, you're not really Mario anymore. So when you die, it's not that there's an afterlife that you go to. Life still exists while you're gone. And that's the afterlife. It'll still be here as a construct of itself, still learning to understand itself in a different form. And it won't be your exact collect consciousness. And all these electronic recordings we make or physical recordings we make are forever going to be echoes of that, and they can help the next versions of the consciousness, which I find fascinating because that's really the symbolism of language. But notwithstanding, life itself will continue after you. That's afterlife, right? Your consciousness just won't be there to experience it. That's really hard for the ego to take a bite out of because we want to be the thing that matters the most. But as soon as you're like, oh no, that's not what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. It's like, this is just my opinion. The way that, like Bill Burr says, the Baptists, it's like, well, what was life like before you got here? It's like nothing. You didn't have consciousness. And it's like, why would we assume that since we now do, it'll always exist? It's like we're just a crazy combination of all sorts of gases and molecules, right? It's crazy.
Did you see the new John Wick?
No,
it's fucking good.
Is it good?
It's fucking.
I know
good.
the spoiler, but I don't. I guess I'll have to watch it because it's the last one. But I just was never really. The first one was they couldn't have stopped at the first one, but I thought they should have. It was one of those movies that was just like too good, you know.
Really?
I was like, yeah, because you have an epic. I mean, the fourth chapter.
There's a scene in that movie where John Wick goes to the hospital before the big fight. I mean, it goes to the church because his wife died, you know, and he pays his respect. And one of the guys that are after him to murder him so they can collect the bounty asks him, do you think she hears you? And he says, no. And then the guy says, why are you here then? In case I'm wrong. And I thought that was so clever. In case I'm wrong, I'm going to go to church and pay my respects before I go through this fight that I might die, you know? So in case I'm wrong, I'll pray. In case I'm wrong, I will pray for forgiveness. But do I believe it? No, I'm just doing it just in case.
Right. I feel that
I
same
like
way,
that.
but like trying to reconcile with your own conscience. Like, you can tell your conscience not to react to things. You know, that's how people get desensitized to stuff. And it's like, if you silence that voice for long enough, that's the same thing. I think is not praying for forgiveness. Because like, you do have to. That's the thing that's kept you alive up to this point. So you want to respect that. It's like even if you've almost made it a couple times, it's like your conscience is the thing that somehow lets you act without worry. So you know you're in your known area, but it's like I don't know. You don't want to silence that.
Usually, Grant opens a question like that so that he can have the answer.
Yeah, what do you think?
What is it? What do you think, Grant?
What do I think? What
about what happens after death?
What happens after death? Well,
the question you just asked me.
Yeah, is there an afterlife?
Both
of your perspectives are interesting. Well, I think what you said
does Jesus Christ exist, and did he rise again?
I think your mic is a little low.
Maybe.
You want to?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to talk
it seems like.
I mean, you can bring it up right there. I don't know which one it is. Check. Oh, it must be one. Just a little bit. There you go.
Test.
There you go.
Whatever.
All right.
Is there an afterlife? I don't know.
Yeah, for you.
No, I don't know.
Is there?
I think. Well, I mean, it's hard to answer because I think an afterlife implies that things are revolving around the conscious entity. You know, so to say an afterlife implies that the conscious individual is continued outside of a host in a way. You know what I mean? Which is to say, like, because you think of yourself as a conscious individual, Mario, and you are a specific conscious individual. So does that specific conscious individual continue outside of your specific form when it no longer is the form that it is?
And it barely does well it does, because people are always going to interpret you as however they see the world, not even how you really are, right? So, like, even that. But you're right. All your writings, all your creativity will not be your experience again, because your entity will be gone. So,
what's either one of the two? Like,
so what are you saying?
The two camps are either you're of the advocate of like you're a conscious entity and the whole environment moves around you, which is like, okay, I'm going to go to hell, or I'm going to go to heaven, which essentially like means that the universe really revolves around you, and you are this thing that the universe exists for. The universe exists for your individual self. And the universe is going to give you these different environments according to you, because you're the host. You as an individual are the source, versus the universe being the source, and you're just like a participant in the universal mind, in the universal consciousness. Because if it's the former, then that means that all of us are the hosts of our own consciousness. And if it's the latter, it means that we are participants in the host, when the host would be the layer, the thing that's underneath us all. So like one would be saying, like one's imagining in a way to like put it more imaginatively, or to like paint a picture, would be like one would be saying like, okay, you have a landscape, and the conscious individuals that we are the things that pop up within that landscape, like little clay formations. You know, if the whole thing was made out of clay, you're like the little things that pop up into that clay formation, and when you cease to exist, you go back into the clay formation, because that's the thing that is hosting you. And so you as an individual are not the conscious all of the whole. You're just a temporary representation of something. And when you're done, when you die, you go back into that hole. So is there an afterlife for you? No, because the afterlife is, like what Neal said, the continuation of all consciousness, all vibration, any individual. So it's not about you, the specific individual. It's about the consciousness of the whole. So that would be like what Neal's referring to, which is I tend to agree to more, because I tend to like see what I think is source material, which is not me as an individual, but a field that I come from and that I am a representation of, you know, a field of energy, a field of potential.
I come from. I know. No, it's right, because life is existing on all sorts of other planets across the universe right now. Right. So like,
but the opposite would be to, or the other option would be to say that you are the individual, and that the universe is kind of working around you as a host. And that means like, so as you die, everything's going to shift around you and create a new environment, like a video game. Like, because when you play a video game, the game console is the host, and the game console is obviously the environment around it, but more importantly, it's your character. So when you, like, it's not loading all of the game. When you walk into a new environment, the game puts the game around you as the character, because the character is what's most important. Uh-huh. And so it's, you either think that the game doesn't exist outside of you as the individual, and that it's loading around you, and as you move through the game, the universe is giving you it to you because you're the host, or you think you are a part of the game, and the game exists whether or not you're in it. So you could die as an individual, but the landscape and everything, I'm sorry right now, the landscape and everything in it,
Morty, use that later for your sound bites.
Idea.
The landscape or everything in it is moving. So what do I think? I think...
But isn't it kind of both? I mean, due to the observer effect, it's like how much of the universe exists until a conscious entity is actually observing it.
We have to... Well, I mean, essentially what we're asking is what do I think? What do I think? Is there an afterlife? Yes.
What do I think?
And I think there is an afterlife from both ends, which is one, yes, there's an afterlife for the whole, which is that we as individual perspectives are constantly popping up into existence within the whole. But then as an individual, you are a waveform that will also pop up continually again and again and again within different expressions as those waveforms manifest in different ways. Just in the same way that we can like put an antenna up right now and you pick up the audio of a particular frequency, there will be something in the future that puts up a particular form of energy, and it will pick up the waveform of Mario, and it'll be your characteristics. It'll be some type of energy of you. It might even be your physical form, and it'll be you, but it'll be you in a different expression. And so in that way, I think that's how the universe recreates you into different environments. So in that way, yes, you will be reincarnated, and you will be reiterated and
well, the question then becomes, do you believe in a soul?
Re-emancipated.
Because what we're talking about is a soul. Because it's like what you're really trying to do.
Religious concept?
And that's the most egoic thing you could subscribe to, in my opinion. Because the ego wants to say that outside of itself, the consciousness that is this phenomenon that is like obviously sustaining itself, but through science we've now proven has arisen in many different. I mean, like just look at all the species on Earth alone. It's like just because we got to this point by whatever means genetically that we can actually understand what's happening. It's just like Rick and Morty is so apropos because it's always like that towards these things that are coming to the understanding of like how amazing they are, and then they get wiped out. It's like, do we want to be, I forget what he calls it, but a level whatever species where we get off the planet and have multiple planets we go back and forth to, because that's the next probable thing to be able to do. And it's like, if you could look, I mean, 1,000 years into the future, like language has only been around for so long, written language, like people have only been able to read the internet. It's moving fast. So it wouldn't, but it's still slow. Like we're doing like missions to other planets, going back to the moon and stuff with Artemis. That's the new one that's going in this year, next year. And it's like years out between the launches to send these people because, they don't want to make any mistakes. So they're willing to double check all the shit, make sure it's like they're willing to wait, And if that day comes and it's bad conditions, they won't launch. Anyways, point is your consciousness itself doesn't matter nearly as much as do you help the species, like the collective consciousness of the most elevated creatures, because we might run into something that's just so amazing that blows our minds, to where it's like something reaches us and like, no, you guys don't get it. You are monkey people on the monkey planet, and just like pick us all up with their hands and like, you get in here, and they throw us in like a little trailer and take us back to their planet, and now we're like food and because we don't even get it. Yeah, they don't even get it. We've just been a food farm for 6 million years.
When Grant said channels, I feel like how the antenna and linking into a particular frequency that you could see on your TV. I got, and I thought got kind of triggered was that how there used to be TV, which there is still now. You can have an antenna and pick up television. But all those are kind of dying out because of online. But they're all just doing the same thing they do on TV on YouTube. So like that kind of symbolizes in some way the afterlife. It's like, hey, they kind of died out in this universe, and they went into a new universe where everything is all in one package. It's a whole new universe of YouTube that is this just megalithic super hub of new channels you can directly go to and just get content off of their production versus flipping all the channels and seeing what's on now. You know what I mean? Versus thinking that it just goes away or it becomes part of like, I don't know, religious doctrine in some way. But that was cool. That's interesting. I mean, we all have our own perspective, and I think that's great. I mean, diversity in concepts of afterlife gears your own perspective of what you represent in life now. And I feel like it is a factor on how you operate in life now. Because if you think there is an afterlife, you want to do what's best now to then reach that point. And I think the religion got that right. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do good so that you can, have a good afterlife. Like, I think they got that idea. It's just that they kept loading more and more things on, like, what you have to do to then go to heaven. Or, like, just be a good person. Don't harm people and murder. You know what I mean? Like, but they kept, no, don't jerk off, no gays, no this, no that. It's like, oh, okay, you fucking calm down. You know what I mean? Like, now you're fucking just trying to control shit.
In Iran, they're still making them wear the hijab.
Yeah.
And, it's like crazy. It's like there's whole entire countries, Afghanistan, where like women are completely suppressed. So the fact that we're even talking about trans rights at this stage is like, we're so far ahead of the curve, progressive in all sorts of ways, technology and being able to use the internet. Like a lot of countries still don't have, I mean, not a lot, but more people in the world probably don't have internet. I'd be willing to guess than do right now. So,
Right.
Yeah.
we're in a whole nother era.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to
like,
go
put on
into
your fucking headdress to their wife, and they're like, "Oh God, I don't want to die." You know, like these guys are fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah,
we're just raised that way, dude. It's just like it's not their fault.
I mean, barbarians.
They saw their dads
even
fucking
worse.
slap their moms. You know,
Exactly.
fucking.
But to switch the subject a little bit, I think we did a really good job with like sticking with film on the last podcast, and I feel like we went into depth on like our own perspectives on how stories should be told. And I was thinking of like what would be a good concept of having a podcast and talking about different things besides movies, but actors and how they impacted us and how we sometimes look at movies and like, oh shit, Tom Cheese is on that? Hells yeah, I'm watching that. You know what I mean? Tom Cruise, I mean. And
you can't even say like Tom Cruise.
You know Tom Grilled Cheese?
I love.
Because you've been calling him Tom Cheese forever. So the fact that you just call him right
dude,
now.
Tom Cheese.
But he is, dude. He's been in the game.
He's the best.
He's been in the game.
I love it.
And now he owns his company, right? Like,
does he?
Like, I think one of the coolest things about him is I think he owns the whole franchise of Mission Impossible. If I'm
No
not
way,
mistaken,
for
which
real?
is like why he keeps pumping that.
That's dope.
Isn't he like 60 now?
Let's
How
go.
old do you think Tom Cheese is?
62.
62?
Didn't we already look this up last time?
No.
We have him up.
He's like Sean Connery's age
Really?
now.
Sean Connery?
I would say he's 56. I'll go 56.
So,
last time?
you look that up, but I made this list of famous actors.
Write that down.
Famous actors and famous actresses. And I like to go through them all and rank them from 1 to 5. 5 being like legendary and forever great actor, and 1 being like virtually unknown and not well respected. So I have male actors and female actors, and then I have directors. I like to leave the directors to the end because there's only like 20 of them.
He's 60.
60?
Yeah.
Wow, he's getting there. 60 now.
It's still killing the game though.
July 3rd. One day before
It's about to be
July 4th.
61.
According to that.
According to
my phone
some
right
website.
But okay, so these are the rankings.
You know, you should also add on there because what I think is amazing about movies is like, I didn't really realize the importance of the cinematographer, but man, like cinematographers, like directors, sure, because we could have a whole podcast just about what we think directing means, like to the individual, because like it's such a convoluted term. You know, all the terms are. So
it's like producer. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a producer.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
What do you produce?
Well, like maybe some people still don't know though, like that are going through film school because a lot of the people that teach film schools really haven't made that many movies. So
yeah,
like,
there's a whole slew. I mean, like it's like a pyramid in some way. The director's on the very top, and then it breaks down into all these little stars.
Unless the director is a star,
you know what I mean?
The star's at the top of the movie. The star
I mean,
and that's why we're looking at actors, right? Tom Cruise, exactly.
Yeah,
he's the star. People that get on camera,
they gear. I mean, like you want to care about the character when you're telling a story. If you don't care about the character, then they're irrelevant. The director just happens to be good at like positioning you and giving you the environment you need to then shine, you know, as an actor.
That's what
yeah. But these are all the actors that I got down here. It's a shit ton. I honestly don't think we're gonna go through all of them.
Instead of like, or you wanted to like go comment on them, why don't we create a game with actors?
Let's just do it fast.
We can do like connect them through the movies.
Some of them are gonna
That's
honestly.
the Kevin Bacon game.
Honestly, I'm really like. Let's go with the first one. So like these are the rankings. 1 star is unknown.
Which is all shout out.
2 stars is okay actor. 3 stars is good actor. 4 stars is great actor, and 5 stars is a legendary actor.
I hate using that word because that thing has run so many times at my work and other stations. People using legendary like it's.
I know.
Let's just go through and bust it out just for fun. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
honestly,
go.
Epic.
Adam Sandler, 5 stars, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go 5.
Yes.
Wait, what were the options again? What were the options?
1 through 5,
Okay,
1 being
good,
the lowest,
great
and then
actors.
5
I
being
mean, like
the
we really should start
legendary.
about like
Also,
what
but-
makes somebody
but
a
is it-
great
well,
actor.
like, just great,
What,
or is it
what
like
is your
legend-
movie
I give
that
him
makes
I
him
give him a
Or is
legendary?
it
4.
fame? Or is
I
it
give him a
fame
4.
and well known?
What?
As far as
He's not
great
a great
acting,
actor.
okay, I'll say
Yeah.
4. I'll go
He's
with
not a
4.
great actor at all. He just
4.
hams it
Put
up
him in the
the whole
4
time.
Honestly,
easy 4.
I'm willing to do that because he's
Yeah.
mostly very.
Are you talking about famous? Because we can talk
Yeah,
about
famous.
acting
No,
talent
no,
or
no,
famous.
Right.
Let's just
There's
make it
different terms.
legendary. What legendary means to you is what legendary needs to be for him. If he's not legendary to you,
Right?
I
That's
love
fair.
comedy.
That's why you use that.
He
And
is
comedy-
legendary.
But, like,
so
no one's
I
gonna hit
honestly
five.
think. I
As
honestly
far as
think.
acting, for sure 4 or 3. But as far as legendary, yeah, Adam Sandler's 5 all day.
I
that's
think
why I
so
went with
too.
5
I
too.
think so
Like
too.
legendary is
So
just
that
arbitrary
if
word.
we're just going with
Happy Gilmore was the reason for
Let's not-
what
let's
makes
not-
him
let's not say
legendary
good
in
acting.
my.
Let's-
How about
in
you
my-
make
my
legendary
book.
like, would you actually want to hang out with this guy?
Bro, if you put him on any other movie with legendary actors, you'd be watching that shit.
I mean, no, he just comes out with all sorts
This
of
is
shit.
the first
and I don't
one.
like
Like, there's
most
a
of the
lot
shit,
debate
so-
All right.
with just the
He's
first
just okay.
one.
He's just
Okay.
now he's a 3. Now
Where
he's a 3.
where
Okay.
you want to do 3,
He's
you want to
doing-
do 5, I want to do 5, so he's a 4. He's a 4.
All right, I'll put him
Okay,
on 4. Let's
we're
go.
gonna put him on a 4.
right.
Here we
Is
go.
that how it
4.
works?
Oops.
Guess we're going. Just keep it pushing.
And then the
Almost.
next one,
Next.
Al Pacino, legendary.
I'll go 4.
What?
I'll go 4.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, like I like him. He's great.
He's
he's
Godfather,
not
bro.
legendary to me. Yeah, he's not legendary to me.
What do you think, Neil?
He's 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah, 4.
Really?
Solid 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 2 to 1. It's a 4.
I don't know if anyone's gonna get my legendary.
Right? 5
Dude,
is
I have a lot.
Jim Carrey, I'd put it at 5. I don't know.
Adam. Okay, I can
Alan
go with
Cumming?
the 2 with this guy.
Alan
You know?
Cumming? What's he in?
Oh, he definitely gets a 4 too.
X-Men?
A
No,
4?
That's the guy that's like, I'm
Son of the
invincible.
Mask of
No.
Boris?
He's in all sorts of
yeah.
shit.
I'm even
Ooh.
down for
If anything,
1.
this guy's a 5.
No.
Really?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Alan Cumming? Haven't
You
you seen
fucking-
Goldeneye?
No.
He's
Different lives.
great, but like as far as overall, I'll give him a 3. I'll solid 3.
Okay. You're honestly going with a 5, Neil?
No, I'll give him a 4.
I'll give him
Okay, a 4,
3.
3. I honestly go with the 2, so we're gonna have to go with the 3. It's the
3?
halfway.
Split the deaf. He's a good actor.
Yeah,
I don't
he
think
is.
so. But he's
But
no
you just
doubt
put him in the
a
good actor, so you must
Yeah.
agree.
He's a good
Alec
actor.
Baldwin, 4.
4? I'm
He's
cool
done
with that
enough
because
work.
he's done
He's
some
solid.
good SNL
He's
shit.
solid.
He's almost
He
legendary.
He shot that person.
He's almost legendary.
He killed the guy.
I have
He
to
killed
bring
the guy.
up the fact that he shot
Right?
someone and he got away with it.
I mean,
it's
that's
pretty
like
baller.
because like they were just like super low budget in that
Yeah.
movie, dude, pushing it through.
Well, like the
Someone's
thing
not
about
paying attention.
holding a
It's so
gun
sad.
over someone's body, you gotta be real careful. You gotta shoot it on the side, just test it before you even put it against somebody. It's just
Well, she was the
101.
armor, dude. And you know what? To be fair, they are a little like. So I did that Terminal List pilot. I was in the Terminal List pilot. If you guys ever watched the Terminal List with Chris Pratt, the pilot, I'm like the guy that's cocking. I got to lead the firing party for like one
No
of the
way.
first burial scenes.
No way.
I mean, and so like we were advising on military stuff, and they have my armor there because we're like loading blank rounds to shoot.
Right.
So we're trying to do it, but they are a little like too ballsy for their salsy. You know, it's like chill out. Like those are loaded weapons. You have a certain
Yeah.
amount of rules you always follow, no matter
Exactly.
how fucking.
You don't.
She clearly
You don't
did
even
that.
hold a gun in the direction, the barrel of the in the direction of a human being. You know what I mean? Like it's 101 of holding a gun. Regardless,
First thing.
so a 3,
Solid 4.
4,
4.
4.
And it happens all the time. Keep
A
going.
4,
It
yeah,
happens
you're
all the
right.
time. So
You're
like
right,
you know
4.
another story we covered one time. This crazy guy like went in and started attacking people in a Target or something, or like a Home Goods or something. And cops came in, like full tactical response or whatever, and they ended up shooting the guy who had already like hurt some woman pretty badly, and then was like attacking random people in the mall. He was like a crazy, or in the shopping center. He was like crazy dude. And so the guy had like a AR, the cop that was leading, because they released the body cam footage later, and he like shot the dude at the end of the clothes rack or whatever. And there was a mom and a little girl changing behind him. So my point is, it happens to everybody. Like people make mistakes. Like this is a trained cop, and he did SWAT shit, and he had done whatever. And it's like you still got to fry because like accidents happen. So.
You're right.
True.
Andy
Andy Garcia.
What do you think?
He's like a
2?
yeah.
2? Grant?
He's a 2 for me.
Yeah, me
just
too.
because I don't know him that well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on Ocean 11. He's done other things. He's not
to
the
be
main
fair,
guy.
all these people are legends in their own right. Just the fact that you
they're
took
good
screenshots
actors
of them.
at least, but we're extra
All right,
critical.
all of them kind of hit a 3 mark just for the fact that you
Good
took
job,
screenshots.
guys. You guys are more famous actors than me.
Like,
Good job.
the internet is all about.
You know who
they
just
get
died?
shit all
Michael
the time.
Madsen. You know who Michael Madsen is? Where would you put that
legendary.
guy? Oh, legendary.
Come on. Anthony Hopkins.
Hey, Hops. I don't know, man.
Really?
Anthony Hopkins.
In my book, is a 5.
He is probably a 5. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Honestly, right?
He is probably.
He's done some incredible acting just by being like really creepy. What do you think, Grant? You're
like
the last
actor,
factor.
Too. He's like a Jack Nicholson.
I mean,
legendary.
Yeah, like I like him a
legendary.
lot, but
legendary.
He's not. He's not one that
like trying to sell you.
It's like there's certain people where if their names, he's a 4 for
2
me.
5s. 4. 1 4 is still a 5.
You can take that. Still
First 5. Interesting.
I mean, really, it's like.
Antonio Banderas. It's a 5 for me. I'm sorry. 4. It's just my homie. That's my brother.
That's a 5 for me.
There's not that many Mexicans on here.
I know in my heart.
Marco the Zorro. Come on, he's Zorro, bro.
You put him right next to Antonio Banderas too.
He's legendary.
That's funny. That's funny.
Okay. So what do you say, Neal?
What can I get you for a?
Can I sell you with the 5?
He is pretty.
I need
pretty awesome, but no, I don't.
I mean, he was Puss in Boots. So
what is he?
I mean,
it's a 4.
You can like chill. I can just like judge it for a second. Come
5.
back to me.
5.
Ask Grant first.
4. Yeah, 4. He's 4. He's done some great stuff.
Okay, a 4.
Is he? Yeah,
I'll allow. If you would have said a 3, I'd be like,
I have not given out a 5 yet. I'm not giving out a 5.
Legendary Anthony, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on, yo.
I'll agree with that.
Terminator.
Terminator. I'll give him a 5. Yeah, he's one of those people where like even now still, if he's on it, like if he's on the ticket, I'll probably go see it.
Yeah. I take the day off to hang out with Arnold. He goes, Neal, you got to come hang out with me. We're going to go to the beach. And you're like, fuck yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why didn't you call me before?
Get in the chopper. Come to me.
He's landing on the building. He's just hanging on to it with a margarita. He's like, we're going to the beach.
Chug this margarita with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. I mean,
Ashton Kutcher is like a 3.
3.
I say 3.
He's a good actor.
3.
Solid.
We all agree on a 3 for real?
Yeah.
Oh wow! This is the first time we all agree to one actor.
Agree on Ash's 3.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Ben Affleck.
4.
I would say a 4.
Yeah, he's a good 4.
He's a 4. Only because of
good.
Mallrats and some shit where he's like he's been in the game for a minute.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of work.
Okay,
he's entertaining.
Okay.
And Kingsley 3. Solid 3. He's a great actor. He's not gonna move me to go see something, but he's gonna push that edge a little bit.
Right.
He hasn't been in the game as
he's known for what he is. He's known for what he is.
He's a 3.
He's a good bad guy.
Not a 2. He's now incoming.
So 3?
I give him a 3.
Yeah. Okay. 3.
Ben Stiller.
5.
He's a close 5. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll give him a 5. I'll say that.
Dude, Tropic Thunder?
If I see him in it, there's a good chance. He's kind of on par with Adam Sandler, though, where it's like, he's kind of, but he has done some stuff where has pushed his acting ability, so I'll give him a 5.
He's been like in a supporting character so much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is a 5.
He's totally a 5, yes. Neal got the 5. Sweet.
Wait, that's all first agreed on.
Ooh, we need to
I do like him.
5.
Mario, you can't get any 5s. And if you did, 5s don't matter.
I'll go 3.
5.
Just take a bunch of pictures of people that you think are legendary.
Yeah.
Look, I have a 5 list for myself. I wanted to share.
I have my own 5
but like, I don't think we're gonna get through all of them.
list.
So like,
all right.
okay,
4.
let's just get through
3.
4, 3, 5. So 4. Okay, fine. 5.
All 4.
Bill Murray, bro, legend.
Yeah, he is great.
Legend.
4.
4?
Yeah,
4, Neal?
He's never had quite the poise. He's interesting.
Why? Neal?
Because he's always an actor that I always thought was good, but like never was crazy about. And when people are like crazy about him, I'm like, why? Like he's not like he doesn't hit that note for me.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, 4.
But you know,
He's good.
He's a good actor. He's a famous person.
Brad Pitt, I'm down for a 5, but a 4
He's a solid 5.
I'll allow
Anything
4.
less than 5 is hate. I say anything less than 5 is hate on Brad Pitt.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's
still
just
has
happened to
he's
be
got
a pretty person.
He's done enough
He's
cool
just
stuff.
so pretty.
Like
He's a good looking
He's
guy.
acted in everything. Like this is
He's
an
done
A-lister.
some good shit.
He's
Okay,
like-
a 5 is not bad.
Which I bet you who you don't have on here is George Clooney.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
I got
I
to take
am
a
Bradley
piss.
Cooper.
Oh my god, I
probably
gotta take a
have George
piss.
Clooney.
Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry.
In the absence of Mario, we can just vote all these people wherever we want.
That's right.
Rather get weird. He's a 1. Fuck
Yeah.
that guy.
Fuck Bradley Cooper.
Now the cameras are lining up like they should.
Yes.
I should text Pops and say what's up.
Right? Did you text him?
How's everything going with you? So what's
That's
the
right.
Yeah.
I'm deciding in between trying to stay with this job
Mm-hmm.
and
the Rock Sushi.
not, or I should say, I'm trying to think between going to Sushi Roku for 72 a year. So they sent me an offer and I already signed it for 72. But
72,000.
yeah, that's a
That's
salary position, first salary position ever if I wanted to do it. But I'm going to be working like 50, 60 hours a week, most likely like 55, 50 hours
Yeah,
a week.
but upgrades, dude. Think about that cash.
There's the thing is, it's actually less than what I'm making now. So I make more hourly as a server than I do hourly if I was to take this position. So
If you're
hourly-
calculating 60 hours a week.
for sure,
Yeah.
exactly, for sure. So just hourly, just pure hourly. So let's say if I work 32 hours a week as a server, that would be about $560, just $18.65 an hour, right? So that's just my regular hourly. For sure, on an 8-hour shift, working 32 hours a week, I'm going to make at least $800. There's no way I'm not going to walk away with less than $800 because
On how many shifts?
doesn't even matter. It could be 5 6-hour shifts or 4 8-hour shifts. 30 to 32 hours a week, I'm going to for sure make $800 between 4 to 5 shifts. There's no way I've never not made that much. So that's on the low end. On the high end, I can make $500 a shift as a server in tips. So for sure, I'm walking away with $800 for 32 hours. So that ends up being $74,000 a year, 26 weeks. So I'm making more money, or at least for sure as much money as a part-time server as I would as a working overtime sushi person.
So
But it doesn't look good on a resume.
So the question is, there's a question is,
what would your new position be at this place?
manager. So I'd be managing a team,
Yeah.
one other
Really
manager,
good.
and then I have a overhead manager who's an executive manager who manages Sushi Roku and the next door partnered restaurant Boa Steakhouse. And so these are all under IDG, Innovative Dining Group.
But I thought
They
you already
own-
agreed to do it, right?
I've already signed a contract, but doesn't mean you can't. I mean, you can walk
Bail? You're gonna
walk-
bail like that?
if the money's right and if it makes sense. So for me, what I realized is I honestly didn't do the math right. When he offered 72 grand, I divided up in my head between 24 weeks, because I'm thinking the amount 72 divided by 12 divided by 2, because essentially you get paid twice a month. And that times 12 equals how much you get paid a year? Nope, you get paid 26 times a year because there's 26 weeks in a year, not 24. So we get paid 26 pay periods in a year. So 72 divided by 26 is significantly less. It's, $300 less on every paycheck than what I thought it would be. So that's making that, what's that?
Will you get benefits?
Yeah.
Not included benefits. It's benefits you can pay for. So it's like, yes, they have available insurance that you can take out pre-tax, which is nice. So at least you're able to pay off that insurance and then you get taxed on the remainder of your money that you're making. So that's kind of a little benefit. But I haven't had insurance anyways. And my real attack or my real decision making is, one, do I play the long haul, trying to become the GM, trying to resume build, trying to pursue this career path, or which is essentially being a general manager of a fine dining environment.
You'd be a manager for like the evening or whatever shift you take, like one.
Yeah, they're only open for dinner service. Sushi Roku.
How many other managers would there be?
Just one. It's just me and one other manager.
Oh, one other.
One other manager, and then an executive manager who manages this place plus the BOA across the street, and then like 2 places in Manhattan.
Where is Andrew in this?
Andrew's the other manager.
Oh, cool.
But also the GM is also named Andrew. So it's Andrew Yin and Andrew Ha. So Andrew Ha is the general manager, and Andrew, who just goes by
And then there's an
now.
executive guy that's over
That's
general.
Andrew Ha.
So he's over both restaurants.
Yeah, he's over like 5
For IGM?
restaurants. Yeah. And then above him is the director, Seth. And so that's who I've met with Andrew. I've met with both Andrews, and I've met with Seth.
The question is, do you want to take on this new... Yeah.
Do I want to take on this new trajectory?
It's the Sims,
that's gonna force me.
Yeah,
that's going to force me down this path.
Yeah.
But I realize what is that doing is it's forcing me to give up almost 4 things. So it's forcing me to give up, 1, obviously my job with the Irwin. It's forcing me to give up time that I would spend with Lauren. It forced me to give up time that I spend towards writing my book and my music. So it's forcing me to give up 4 things for 1 thing. And it's making the same amount of money right now that I would make.
This is your
that
own
I'm already making.
This is your calculation of the market. The market of Irwin
it's calculating
and being
value.
the rooftop.
Value of time.
Because if another fucking storm of months of time comes through and the rooftop is closed, you're not going to make the same amount as you projected. You know what I mean?
True.
Or even if you got a heat wave or where like it's so hot out that nobody wants to be on the rooftop, you lose money.
But yeah, the cold thing.
So you know what I've done?
Regardless.
Just might help. You know what I've done when I like hit certain things I really don't know the answer to? I try to characterize it and say, hey, tell yourself what advice you give somebody else having that thing.
I already know the answer.
Oh, well, there you go.
The answer is I got to do what I love. And
be with the woman.
No, it comes down to my craft. What's my career? My career is not general managing. So like if I was to become a general manager,
so you're going to turn down the job?
It would be gaining financial income in order to write my book, in order to get more music out and have more time with my girl. But if I can already have that with the job I have, and so my approach now is I spoke to the acting manager of Irwin, who's Dee Dee, who's essentially she's essentially the top manager because we don't have a GM and we don't have a director. So I told her, I already gave her my 2 weeks and I gave our HR my 2 weeks. And long story long is I told Dee Dee in an email that, hey, if you're able to get me on full-time serving, because right now I'm part-time server, but if they give me a contract for full-time server, 32 hours a week guaranteed, then I'll come on and stay with you guys as the server.
Right.
Because then that means
Do you think they want you there that much? Like,
she said in the letter, I gave my 2 weeks and I wasn't even thinking about that because I'd already signed and I was ready to go. Mm-hmm. And then she's like replied with, oh, well, we're going to miss you and please let us know if there's anything we can do to keep you here because we really appreciate you and we, like your services. So let us know.
Standard manager respond.
I mean, maybe not in your case. You were a fucking dickhole to that guy that was on the phone the other day. Where that guy was like talking shit to you, and you like chewed him out on the phone and said, "Go fuck yourself."
If you were a guy that got drunk every time you were at the Irwin serving, you would get the same treatment. But because you're in a different caliber,
exactly,
you're a different caliber than the person I fired. So those are 2 different spectrums.
Man, also,
I don't use that.
After being out the last couple of dates, good service is hard to find. Like something.
Hells yeah.
That part.
Oh my god.
So that being said, is I think they know my quality. And I think they would. And so the first thing I said to them was because Ty, the HR, you want me to read it? You want me to read it real quick?
No, I don't want to hear
Mario
it. Just paraphrase.
Mario doesn't like
Bradley's a 3. He's solid 3.
Yeah, I agree. 3. Let's go with 3.
Probably I'll give him a 3. Okay.
So
I think he's on his path to 5.
Long story long is, I told her, like, hey, I originally said, hey, I would stay on as the GM or the director because I've already applied for those positions and I told HR. So I'm waiting for those interviews that she said she might be able to get me with the GM of the hotel. And Brendan Fraser? Yeah, 3 for sure.
Really?
I'll give him a 3.
I like a 4 because I like the mummy.
I'll give him 3.
All right, 3.
It's one movie.
I told him essentially, or her essentially, that I would come back on and be a full-time server if I got full-time. So if I get full time, I am going to go back.
32 plus hours.
32 plus hours because that would make me
at least
solid 4, almost a 5, but solid 4.
Yeah, almost a 5.
So that's
good, man. I hope you get it.
That's where I'm at with my job.
I hope you get whatever you want. 4. I say 4 at least.
Well, yeah. So you think she's gonna?
I don't even know his name, bro. I like this dude, but I don't even know his name.
Serenity is so good for him.
Yeah, he's good.
Serenity.
Shut the
Okay.
Is that right?
But I hope you get that. 5. But I'll go with a 4. 4.
I'll go with the
4.
Ooh. It's between a 3 and a 4. I'll lean. I mean, he has established himself with Avengers, but I don't like him as far as an overall actor.
Good looking guy.
What else has he been in?
He smash.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
What else has he been in besides
3.
Avengers?
Yeah, as far as all-time career,
huge franchise.
I'll say 3.
Yeah, but it's like
he's good, but like he hasn't established himself.
I don't really think he's
in the long term.
I think he's a great.
He's a good actor.
Same goes with him. Chris.
He's between a 3 and a 4. I'll give him a 3.
I haven't seen any dramatic challenging.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are
just
Avengers
famous
haters.
Bro, I like that.
I mean, Brad Pitt.
I'm down
Brad
for
Pitt's not a
three
great
with
actor
this guy.
either, but Brad Pitt crosses all boundaries.
I like
this guy. Pop culture reference.
I'm on that.
I like
Chris
him.
Pine.
3.
I could say 3 for him.
Yeah. Okay.
He's solid.
Perfect.
He's a good actor.
Because I agree with you guys. I'm a fan. 5.
You just want to get out 5.
I'll say
5.
4
for sure.
He's a great. He's
really?
A great actor. He's a 4. Yeah,
I mean, like really, he's been in some great stuff.
Yeah, he's been in some great
stuff. I'll give him 4.
But
he's a good actor.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
3.
5.
No, if I see him, I doubt I'm gonna go.
Legend.
I know you try to get him on your movie, but like even still, it's like he's a pop culture legend.
Yeah.
He was never that cool. That's the joke.
I mean, his acting's not the.
He was never that cool. That's the joke.
The jokes.
I mean, if you saw Walker
Chuck Norris,
it's like Walker
Texas Ranger. 2 or 3?
3.
1.
Legitimately, what do you say? A 1 or are you joking? 3?
3 is my ranking for Chuck.
I'll go with 3. But if it was my choice, it would have been a 5.
This dude,
he's really good.
Him from the
I like him, but he's still a 4 for me.
What's the one with the red eyes?
Red eye.
He was a 4.
I'll give him a 3. Yeah.
I like a 4.
I like a 3.
You say 4, Neil?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.
4.
Give him 4 just because I liked him in Sunshine and 20 Days Later and all this.
Chris Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood.
I mean, I respect him. I'll give him a 3.
I respect him. Yeah, I'll give him a 3. Yeah,
I'm sure if I grew up watching more of his movies, I may have given him a 4 or 5, but no. I think
he's a good actor. I mean, like, technically, Clint Eastwood is a 5 only because he's still alive from the last generation. So I'll give Clint a 5 just for this.
Really? You giving him a 5?
Out of respect.
Does that lift you up to a 4?
You give him a 3? Because Neil went on, we'll give him a 4.
Yeah, right? Yeah, at least gets to be in 4. He's the fucking man.
Yeah. I liked him on that 1 movie, Children of Men. That was really good, but I still say a 4.
3.
A 3. I'll go with a 3. I'm still down for a 3 with him. He's good, but he's not that active.
3.
3. Yeah. I like him, but he's not all that, you know?
So
3.
Neil?
3.
Yeah, okay. 3.
Judging. Let's judge these guys.
For sure. We got so many.
Who deserves our appreciation?
We haven't gone to the women's.
Who the fuck is this guy?
We haven't gone to the women's.
I'll say 1.
1. Yeah, I don't know.
I did just see him
like
in
him
Empire
on
of Light.
The King of...
I did just see him in Empire of Light.
Oh, you did? I saw this one, the King's Speech.
He's a great actor.
He's good.
1. Great actor. Make him a
really calling Firth. You're awesome.
Put him in the 13th district of the Hunger Games.
These guys just calling Firth. Cuba, man, he fell off. I'll give him a 3. I'll give him a 3 though.
3.
Yeah,
solid 3.
Jerry.
Okay, I'm down for a 3 with him.
If you want to cruise. You see? He was Bond.
Ooh.
At least 4. At least 4. Any Bond.
4 at least, you know? 4
for sure.
Let's do 4 with him.
Old Blue Eyes.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Dan Radcliffe.
I like Harry Potter, but
between 3 and 4, I'll lean towards 3. Even though I really like the Harry Potter series.
Yeah,
I don't love the Harry Potter series at all, but I'd give him a 4 just because he's now trying to do more stuff outside of non-Harry Potter. He's acting.
He's been acting.
But overall, I'll still give him a 3.
3,
you going with 3 then?
He's still young.
Really?
So talk to me in 10 years. He might be a 4.
He might be a 4.
Right now, he's a 3.
Eventually.
I agree.
Yeah, he's a 3 right now.
Like Bradley Cooper, the same way I
give it to
felt.
him a little.
You know,
Bradley Cooper. Yeah,
yeah, he could be a 5 in the future, but not yet. Ooh, he's been in the game forever, but he's never been that startling.
As far as captivating me,
he's a 4 at least for me.
I guess I'd have to say 3 too because Bruce Willis is a 4.
Yeah.
So you can't put Danny and Bruce
at 3. Okay.
All those were in the same movie.
Danny Glover.
That was Arnold's. What's the name?
Oh, what did you say?
Bruce Willis.
Oh, Bruce Willis. Oh, okay.
Danny Glover, not a huge fan, but he was iconic.
Yeah, he was a
3.
A 3. Yeah, I'm down for a 3.
That's a cool scarf. Cool scarf.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna fall into the 3. That's the bell.
Yeah, I think that's
Denzel.
Oh, legend.
4 or 5.
Legend.
Yeah, give him a 5.
I'll go 4.
5. So 5 it is.
I'll 5 him up.
Yeah,
I give him
pretty good.
He was so good at Training Day.
Don Cheadle.
He's between a 3 and a 4, but I'll go 3.
3.
I'll say a 4 just for all the character work.
Okay, well, it's
You
still a
stuck
3.
it out. You stuck it out.
It's still a 3. Thanks for your opinion.
Grant and I said 3, so it's a 3.
You're outruled.
Danielle.
This is democracy.
I like him and all, but I'll give him a 2. Like, as far
I'll
as
give him a
me
3.
recognizing him.
2? Okay, a 2. All right, that's fine. I mean, he's not all that.
Sutherland for?
I mean,
Dwayne Johnson.
Ooh, I
4.
like him, but a 4. I still 4.
Yeah, he's still in the 4
I like him a lot.
He's great.
I'll give him a
4.
But it's just like a 4.
He's solid.
He's
looks
not.
Dude, he looks like a living sculpture now. Like, look at his image. He literally looks like one of those Easter Island statues,
wow.
bro.
Yeah, he's bigger than life.
This dude, Eddie Murphy, for sure.
I think it's a 4.
For sure, 4.
I think it's a 4.
Isn't it 5? He's almost a 5.
He's almost a 5.
He's done so much work.
He's done so much,
and
dude.
he's multifaceted. He's comedy.
He just fell off.
Video.
He hasn't come out.
4 for sure.
I think he's a 4.
He's a 4.
What do you say, Neal?
Come on, Mario. I'm right.
I agree with you. What are you talking about? Neal.
4 works for me.
I'm a Luigi.
4 is fine?
Yeah,
Sweet.
4.
Everybody knows Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
everybody knows. Edward Norton, 4.
I think it's a 3.
He's a good actor.
Because he's been acting
I'll give him 4.
But a 4, okay, that's fine.
Elijah, also been in the game.
3. I
3.
also like, he has
Lord
been
of the
in
Rings,
it. He's a close 4. He's almost 4, but I'll still give him 3.
He's like,
I haven't seen him in enough.
Who's Kristen, that one girl? Kristen, the blonde chick? She's
the wig?
Yeah, no. Well, she's like that to where she grew up in the game.
Yeah. So
the girl
a 3
that was in
then?
Twilight.
Yeah.
Elijah. But he's a great actor. I'll give him a 4 just because it'll be in 3 anyways. But you heard it here first, Elijah. I
was on your side.
You were Frodo.
Right?
You did.
This guy wasn't enough. He's good, but
3.
not all that. But a 2.
He's got to look like, do you like me?
I like Troy.
Hello.
He was good in Troy.
I'll be in your movie. I'll be an older, speckled, gray and pepper, salt and pepper gentleman.
I'll give him a 2.
I'll give him a 3.
You give him a 3? Okay, so it's
you
a
have your
3.
fame. You don't need our approval.
Okay,
Eric Bana. He's like crying, eating ice cream.
Oh, Mexican actor. I gave him a 5. I gave him a 5.
Never heard of him.
He's too gangster.
A 1? What's the lowest I can give this guy?
He's Hispanic.
I guess.
I've never heard of YouTube.
Yeah, I'll give him a 1 just because I don't know him. So.
Really?
I guess that's a thing.
I have no. So
if we were Hispanic, maybe we'd get it. But
he gets
put him at 2. No, we both said 1. You put him in 1.
I mean, he said 5.
I said 5.
Oh, you said 5?
I said 5.
So I guess
he's a legend.
That's in mind up to a 2. If
he's
he was
a very
3,
Hispanic.
for sure, it'd be a 1. But
no, he's in the game.
System.
Mario's
one who controls where the votes go anyways. Oh, you I went through the vibe. You fuck what you think. This guy, I know him.
It's all being recorded, so like your opinion is still valid. It just doesn't valid in the ranking.
No, I'm just saying
3 for Ewan.
4. I would say 4 because I like him.
Moulin Rouge.
I'd say 4.
Oh, this guy was.
He's been in for everything. Like
3.
Wasn't he in Requiem or Dream?
He's not going to make me go. He's not going to make me push me to the box office seat.
Yeah,
sure. I enjoy him.
Give him 3.
Yeah. 3? Okay. I'm down with the 3. It's fine.
He's not going to put my butt in the seat.
He was a good Yoda. Or, not Yoda. Fucking.
Still solid 3. I like this dude too. He's great.
Yeah, he's good.
But he's not going to push me to the seat.
He's a 2.
He's a great actor.
I said he's a good actor.
Fucking breaks in.
Right?
He's like, you think I'm not gonna take you to push you to see, bitch?
What do you think?
You gotta watch my fucking latest film as he drops into AFC.
Twitching his eye.
Like, no worries.
What do you say, Neal?
You go to watch my movie.
3? You say 3 as
He's a
well?
great actor, but I mean,
3? Okay, I'll go with 3.
am I gonna
That's
stop
fine.
traffic?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
He at least hits a 4.
5.
4,
5.
almost a 5. He's a 4.
5.
He's pretty epic.
He's so epic,
5.
but yet he's not gonna like push me to see
Dude,
a movie by
the
himself.
Fifth
He's not a
Element.
star. He's a great co-star.
Or the 6th element? 5th element.
7th element.
5th element.
I'll
He
say
was so
4.
good. 4?
4.
4. Oh,
He's
fuckers.
great. He's not.
I think he's legend. I love him.
He's good.
I love him.
George Clooney. 3.
Yeah, I like
3.
him. 3. Yeah, I'm
like
cool
as
with
an
that
actor,
3.
yeah, we all know who George Clooney is. I
Yeah,
don't think he's
3.
a good
Solid
actor
3.
actually at all. I don't
Yeah,
like his stuff. You could. I'll just put him at 2 just for the record.
Interesting.
George Clooney.
I mean, like, fuck,
Yeah,
not,
that's an
like,
actor.
like, not fuck him, but like, I don't really like his acting.
Yeah.
Like even Jack Nicholson's
I
got his
see-
own
I see what
flair,
you're
but
saying.
George Clooney's like, I'm gonna be that straight laced guy in every situation. So like, I don't feel
wasn't he
like
on
he's
ER
ever pushed
for, like,
himself.
All the seasons.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, superstar. I mean,
Yeah, he's done some really
Gerard
good stuff,
Butler.
but
he
like
gets
not.
typecast a lot, Gerard.
Yeah, I think he's a
Give him a
3.
3. Yeah,
I'll give him a
good. He's
3.
great.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. He's
3.
great.
He's
Give him a
not. He's
3.
not all that, but he's definitely a 3. I would
Easy
say.
3. I mean,
He's good.
Let's do these women.
Harrison.
Oh, more
Yeah,
guys.
There's
Bro, why is all
dude.
dudes?
There's so much, dude. Should
Too
we just
much.
skip?
Let's get
Should
to
we
the
just
women
skip
now.
to
Let's
the
just
women?
wait.
the women now.
Why do you have so many
Put him in
dudes?
5. Put Harrison Ford in 5. And let's
Yeah, I agree with that. I say 5.
5 Harrison
Grant?
Ford. Let's go to the chicks.
All right, let's do the chicks.
Let's get in. Let's end
All
on
right.
Harrison. He's like, you
All
guys
right,
still
female.
looking at dudes?
Bro,
You guys haven't gone on to the chicks yet, bro.
like I
Come
even
on,
made a
you've been
hot
graded
list
men.
on the chicks. The chicks have a hot list
This is
that I
gonna
made.
sound sexist
It's like
everything from now
hot
because we're just
actresses.
it's
Oh
gotta
my
be about their
God.
acting ability. You have to have
man.
it be more because
What do you think about
Don't
this
even know
chick?
who that is.
I don't even know who that is, but she looks hot. I'm down for it too.
I'll give
At
her
it's
a
least.
1.
bad for you, Mario. I put it
1.
I put her in a
0.
1. I don't know
Yeah,
her
1.
at all.
Really? Oh
Never.
wow. You guys don't rank the hotness. Okay.
That's not what we're ranking.
Don't know
1
who that
for
is.
sure.
1.
From isn't that she from? Oh no, that's not her. From Sunny in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Nope. That's not her.
1.
Uber 2.
One. A 2?
I've seen her.
I say 1. Do you say 1, Grant?
One.
Like if I see
I've
her
never seen her.
in
Yeah,
public, I know
1.
that she was in some shit. I'm like, oh yeah, you're
I'm
right.
sure.
She's really
I'll give
good.
her a 2.
I'll give her.
She's
3.
hot.
I think
I'll give her
she's
2.
Hot enough
She's
for a
pretty good
2.
actor.
2.
2, Neal?
I say 3. But it
3,
doesn't matter.
but it's a 2 then.
My brother says.
We're a lot harder on the girls. It seems like right out the
Show me
gate.
some star girls. Come on, man.
She's good. Amy
also
Adams.
weak stuff.
She's good. I would say a 4, but I'm down with
Amy
the 3.
Adams. I like 3. Yeah, she's.
I like a 3,
She's
but a
entertaining.
4. I'm open for a 4. What do you
3.
say, Neal?
I said 3.
3. Okay.
3.
3. Old school. Old school.
3. She was
A 3.
good.
Yeah, she's hot too. Back in the day.
She's easily a 4. I mean, everybody knows that reference.
But it's still a 3.
But it's to the 3.
Oh, legend? I would say legend.
Solid
5.
4.
5.
4.
4. Okay.
I give out very few 5s.
Yeah,
I
clearly.
give out very few.
3.
Two,
She's
I
done
guess.
some
I didn't
really
see
good,
her.
like
Is it all?
bad,
4.
bad.
I'll say
2.
2. Also.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, 2.
I don't really know who that is at all. I'll give her a 1. I don't know. She's just unknown to me.
Interesting.
Unknown actress.
And
I think she's funny.
She's good.
I would give her
I'll
a 3. Yeah, I'm down for a 3.
I don't even know her name. I just seen her in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen her in House of Cards.
Yeah, 3. Solid.
A 3?
I've seen her in some
Yeah,
stuff.
she's not bad, but she's
great.
good.
3 shouldn't be
actress.
good actress. It should be known. Like, do I know this person?
Her
I think I can go
almost
for
a
a 4, but
Almost a 4. I'd say
I'm
3.
still
Talking at the
3.
same time.
No, that's fine.
Everybody go.
Go ahead.
4.
3.
3. Probably 3 for real.
For her? What do you say, Grant?
Parlay.
I don't really know any
3.
movies she's been in other than when she was in Catwoman. So, like, cool.
Mm.
She's obviously an actor too, but
She was in Dark
was
Knight.
Catwoman?
I mean, the Dark Knight Rises, I should say.
that's what I mean.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And they call
Knifey
Catwoman. So,
Knifey stab
what
fight.
was it? What was it? 3 or 4?
3.
3.
Okay, 3. All right.
Mm,
No,
really
no
2,
5
sorry.
still. She's good. I would say a 3 still.
I liked her. Yeah,
2.
I'll say 2.
2.
She hasn't been in enough stuff
2?
yet for me.
Oh wow, 2.
She's
Okay.
just barely touching, getting her
Yeah,
feet wet.
she's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Ashley Judd too.
I don't even know.
Oh, she is good. Yeah, I liked her in a lot
Really?
of stuff. I liked her in Double Jeopardy. I'll give
I
her a
don't
3.
remember her, but okay, 2 sounds good.
Would you say 2?
I'm okay with the 2. I honestly don't know her.
I know I
Betty
should know who
Davis?
this is, but I've never seen any of his movies. So I'm gonna give her a 1 too.
She should be
She's
a higher
from
rank,
past
but
generation.
maybe a 2 for her.
But she 1, but she was definitely known back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah,
You're
1. She's just too old, I think.
1. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
She's a 2.
She's a 2. I would say. I'll give her a 2.
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. She was good. And,
She's super famous too.
Never even seen that movie.
Like Lively.
Oh,
Blake Lively. Ooh, that's
the Deadpool.
that's just, bro. That's my celebrity. I get to
Dude.
fuck her. That's
Oh,
I
I get to fuck her.
That's my
your
celebrity.
guy.
He just said that so confidently.
Like you heard it here first. I
get to fuck her.
Shiver wants to, and
does that?
It's the what is it like your celebrity
Deadpool.
crush? You know,
that's
like
such a
that you talk
ridiculous
about
concept.
with your girlfriend or whatever. Like like we both have told each
Bro,
other like
that's
all right, if we ever get
Deadpool's wife.
approached. Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
wife.
Reynolds,
They're
that's
good.
right.
They're a cute couple too.
Ryan
But
Reynolds'
no,
wife.
She's
really,
almost a 5 for me because she's so
almost
hot,
a 5.
But like I'll give
but
her
she's
a 4.
3.
What? No, 4.
She's a 3.
For
She
sure.
does
I'll
good
give her a
acting.
4. I'll
but
give her
not
a 4.
Great.
If she's in it,
3, Neal?
I'm interested in seeing it.
Really,
Yeah,
4.
3. This is what I mean about hot chicks.
I wish I could give you 5. I wish
I
I could give you 5, Blake Lively, just in case it works out.
She's
someday.
hot. She's hot, no doubt. I would give her
I
a 5
think
in the
she's a
hotness.
4. Brie, she's doing
I
some
think she's 3.
I really respect her.
Only because I heard
she's
some things about her in the
I'll give her
behind the
2.
scenes. I'll give her a 3 then.
I think like she came up fast.
Too fast.
Miss
almost.
Marvel, yeah, really.
Yeah.
But she was
Legend.
good. She had a lot of potential.
Zia.
Yeah, Diaz is legend.
Diaz?
I would say 4 at
Yeah,
least.
4.
Yeah, she's 4. She's 4.
Okay, I'm down
classic.
for a 4.
She's a classy,
I say a 5,
classy
but
broad. She old
Okay.
now. 2.
she was
Don't know.
really.
2.
Also 2. I don't know this one.
I don't
She looks
remember.
like she
she
can
looks
do some
familiar to another.
I'm giving her
actress.
2 just because
She
of
looks
her
like she's
picture.
judged me.
I really
Yeah.
have never heard of her. I should be giving her 1, but she's good looking enough for a 2.
Interesting.
She was
Carrie
only ever
Fisher.
good in Star Wars.
She was the Star Wars chick. What's her name?
She at least deserves a 3.
a 3.
at least a 3.
I'm down for a 3.
Yeah, she was.
back in the day.
That-
She did a lot of coke. I hear.
We're just like looking at
She did
people's
some
face
shrooms.
for like their
Yeah.
entire life. We're just
Yeah.
like, you're a 1 out of
Exactly.
5 rating.
Yeah.
This person was like a whole person together. Like, everyone is going to offend everybody that ever watches this.
For sure.
He's like, I love that man. He was
What are
my
you
mom.
talking about?
Kate Blanchett. She's great too. I'll
She's
give her
a 4 or a
Who's this?
3. I'm down for a 3.
3.
Yeah, I give her 3.
3, okay.
She looks like she knows a secret.
She knows the secret. I got something for you.
I got some treats.
She
Captain
was good in
Zeta-Jones.
Zorro, so I give her a 4 at least.
I'll give her a 2.
2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, 3
She's
then.
like a 2.
You have Mexican extra.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're giving bonus
Actually,
points for Mexicans.
for real.
Yeah, because it's
You're
my
racist.
show. I like her. I
It's
give
my
her a
show,
5.
and I give my people extra points.
Yeah,
Okay.
they make up
I didn't,
for.
I didn't
Shall I
ever
say
think
if
she
there's
was
two-
a great actor.
I
I'm
think
sure
she was
would
really
hate
good at
hearing
Mad
that, but,
Max.
like,
She's done so much. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll still give her a 3.
I'll give her a 4.
She's
I give
good.
her a 2.
A 2. Oh wow,
3 it
3.
is.
Interesting.
In the
Interesting.
middle.
I don't think she's that good.
I think she's good. Oh, she's a
She's
hottie.
She's
She's a cutie. I had such a big crush
I'll
on
give
her
her a
growing
3.
up.
I actually like her.
I'll give her a
She's a
4
pretty good
at
actress.
least.
She's done some fun stuff.
Oh,
I think she's got a lot of potential.
a lot of potential
But
for
3
sure.
for now.
Yeah,
Really? 3? Okay.
She's a good actor. She's
I'm
been in a lot
not
of great
mad with the 3. She's still
She's coming
hot
up.
though.
She's coming up. Her star's rising.
She did that
Consider
one
she-
crazy movie.
Classic
Black
Wednesday,
I know
bro.
who she is for
Moan.
sure.
Fucking Wednesday.
But like,
Yeah,
I don't
she was
think she's a
crazy.
good actor.
Yeah.
personally.
She's like
It's for sure a
3.
3.
She
a
is
3.
confident. Her confidence carries her to the
Yeah.
I have a
3.
huge crush on her, bro. Have you seen the
Yeah.
new show Wednesday?
No.
You didn't watch it?
No.
She's in it. She's one of the main actresses.
I had a
in
crush
Wednesday.
on her just by Casper. Casper, the Friendly Ghost. This one, I liked her because she was hot, and I was a kid. Anyways,
Definitely celebrity crush.
what is this chick? I don't know who she is. A 2. I say a 2,
Yeah, 2. All right, fine.
2's
but a
fine.
1 is fine.
Yeah, sure.
A 2.
Okay.
Okay.
And she's been some shit.
Let's
She
might
been-
not be too mean.
She's a
Courtney
celebrity.
Cox, 3.
3 just
a
for
3.
friends.
Yeah,
Maybe those are
friends. She did
Any
a
6
good
of the
job.
friends, you know these people.
Yeah, you're right.
It's 3.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Dakota.
She did a
Child
good job.
star.
And
What have you done for me lately, Dakota?
Man on Fire was really good. She's a really young actor.
Her most recent one
She hasn't.
I'll give her a
was
2.
I'll give her a 3.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once Upon a Time.
Oh right.
Who's in that?
Uh-huh.
I'll try.
Just briefly. I'll give her a 3 because she's on the rise.
She's on the rise
She's
for
good
sure.
actress.
She
3.
on the rise.
Dang, Keaton. I don't know this woman at all.
I've
know the
seen
name.
her.
Yeah, but
I'll give her a 2 for the name.
Was she married to Michael Keaton? Must have been.
No.
Must have been.
It sounds like it.
I'll give her
Both have
2.
the same teeth. They both have the exact same smile. I am Michael Keaton.
You're thinking Michael Caine. I'm talking about Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. Same person.
If Michael Keaton said his name as Michael Caine.
Right.
And Michael Keaton.
Diane Lane? No. 2. What's this?
A
What is
2?
this?
Yeah, I'm down for a 2. She's done some stuff, but
I'll give her a
not
2.
all that. Not all that. 2. Okay.
Some of them just got in the game because they're folklore. But
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore?
She's in the game, but
she's
I
easily
still
a 4.
3, almost a 4. I'll give her a 3.
A 3, almost a 4, really?
4,
Wow.
yeah,
She's
been
not
around
all
forever.
that.
She had her
She's all right.
She's still got a talk show.
What do you say?
I said 4.
Oh, 4. So
What'd
it's
you
a
say,
3.
Mario?
I'm down for a 3. That's
I'm
fine.
down for a fuck. This bitch is delete the file. She doesn't even get on the breaks.
Elizabeth Banks.
Look at that.
She's a great actor.
You didn't make it into the folder.
Elizabeth Banks. I'll give
Yeah,
her a
I think
3.
I give her a 3.
She's a
I'm
3,
down for a
yeah.
3.
She's been some stuff.
She's
She's
been some
directing now.
shit.
Classic.
Yeah, for sure.
How these guys got black
Elizabeth
ball from the
Olsen?
industry. Went through all the fucking
She
stars.
fine, bro. I almost
Yeah.
want to give her a 4
Yeah.
just because of how fine she is.
Yeah, she is.
But she
fucking
3.
fine.
I'll
She's
give her
a
a 3.
3. Yeah, yeah.
But she
I
fine.
agree. She's not all
She
that
fine.
though. What do you think, Neal?
She's actually a really good actor, but she isn't
Has
really known
improving?
for anything. She in
Yeah.
the Avengers, she's kind of like, where did we rank
Mm-hmm.
Chris Hemsworth? Do we say 3? Then I give her a
think
3
we
too, because I know of her, but through Avengers, I'd like to see her in more things. Please make more. Please,
She made a
please write more.
her
Elizabeth
own
Taylor?
show on
2,
Disney.
I don't
guess,
really know this
1?
person at all. I've heard of her, but
1 or 2.
She was in that one super famous movie, right?
I'll say 2 because I know of
She
her.
was born in
before.
1932.
Yeah, she was in the
She's dead
game
now.
forever back in the day.
She's
Yeah,
not
I'm
a
down for a
corpse.
2.
She's 2.
2.
And is she even an actress? I mean, like, she was an icon of that era.
Of that
Elizabeth
era.
Taylor?
I just threw it in there just to be like, oh, in case you guys knew it. But
That's when my grandma was born, bro.
yeah,
1932.
I know.
I know.
She's a
I
2.
know
I
your
don't really
grandma.
think she's that good at all.
I know it's old, but I just fucking, curveballs.
That was back when
Anyways,
she was really young.
she's a 2 to me.
Ellen
She's
She
all
was
right.
a 2 to me. She was also good in Old School. She was like,
Mhm.
that was also her
I
part.
never knew
She's not-
Grey's Anatomy was about a girl until someone told me because I never saw an episode.
Obviously, me neither. Me neither.
But,
What do you say,
I'll give
Grant?
it a 2.
A 2? I'm down for a 2.
I'll give it
Neal?
a 2.
2?
Mm-hmm.
Not even her. I'll give it. I'll give it a 2.
Can you not hear me?
We talking
Can you not
over
hear
each
2.
Here's these numbers.
Oh, I said 2 like
Numbers,
5
bitch.
times.
2 fucking hot.
Legendary.
Oh my god, legend.
Emily Clark. What is
Too
she in?
hot, dude. Lord of the Rings, the Queen of Dragons. Come
not
on,
Lord of the
son.
Rings. Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
I'd say she is
She's a hottie.
a 3.
Yeah, I'll give her a 3.
Or at least. Jesus, really? A 3? Okay. Fuck
She's
it.
been in a famous TV show.
I think she's hot.
Emily Blunt. That's
she
a
does
terrible
look-
photo of her, but
Yeah.
I'll still
Really?
give her
Who's
a
on her
3.
IMDb? Fix that shit.
I don't know why.
Right.
they
Is that even
did
her?
it.
That looks like a doppelganger or something.
Right? She did
from the
so
side.
good
Trying
on
to pose
Edge
as an
of
alligator for
Tomorrow.
2 years.
Who put this up? That's just mean.
Right?
Right?
She's easily a 3.
A 3.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would say a 3.
Emily
She
Blunt
did.
has done so
She's
much.
on
She's
Rise,
done
too.
some good stuff, but not legendary.
She's married to John Krasinski, right?
Who's that?
Mhm.
So the guy from The Office.
Really?
Oh, really?
Whereas the Jason Sudeikis, his wife went off with fucking Harry Styles. What's that chick's name? I forget.
Emma Roberts. I don't know who this is. I'll give her a 1.
I'll give her a 3.
Even though she looks like a nice male model.
She's hot.
Never heard
I
of her.
always had
One.
a crush right there.
She looks like a sexy male model.
In this picture, she's
Trying to
had
do that.
other photos.
1.
So a 2.
1.
Really? Okay, a 2.
What?
Because I said a 3.
Because it's my fucking show.
Because she is part
Emma
Mexican.
Stone
And so
is
I love
4.
her.
Even though she's super white.
4.
I know you love her, Grant, so I'll agree with you because she's done some really good stuff.
Agree with me.
A
I didn't
4.
even say anything yet. Neal said
Isn't-
4. I know we sound exactly alike, Mario, but we are different people, okay?
No, when she's been in
She's
Easy
white, so I
A,
give her a 5.
she was in Easy A and a couple other movies, and I was like she's not all that.
I'll give her a 4. She is borderline between 3 and a 4, but she is bottom 4.
You've always been able to be killed by coffee.
I'll give you bottom 4, Emma Watson.
But you
Emma
always
Stone.
had
See, I got your name
crush on her for a bit.
I did have a crush on her from Spider-Man. Yeah, she's pretty cute.
Exactly.
I'll give her a 4.
And she's a good actor. I'll give her a 4. She's on her way to becoming a 5. Keep going, Emma. We believe in you.
On her way to
She's really worked herself
Thompson, 2.
2.
That's the chick from.
Actually, no, her at all. I'll give her a 1.
That's the chick from Avengers, right? Yeah, she's done so many good things.
Yeah,
1.
She
was the bald chick. No, wait, is she the bald chick from Avengers?
No, it isn't.
No, I'm thinking of someone else.
She was in Love Actually, The Remains of the Day, Saving Mr. Banks, and Sense and Sensibility. 1.
2's a fine. It's fine.
I've never heard of this chick.
I'll give her a 2. She looks so familiar.
Yeah, she does look familiar.
I've seen her.
Wow, we're giving okay actress to people we don't even recognize. It's the unknown. You guys don't know that
I
person?
do know her.
She's a hottie. I give her
for sure a 4, 3.
Emma Watson, is she a great
actor?
actor?
She's a 3 just because she's hot.
Yeah, she's a 3. She's just cute.
I'll give her a 3.
I'll give you that.
I'll give her a 3.
Okay, yeah, she's hot.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
She's hot. I put her in the 3 category.
This bitch was crazy.
She was only ever in. Yeah.
Bro, I gotta take another piss, yo. It's crazy.
I'll give her 2.
2.
Yeah, 2. Okay.
I think go piss. Just piss on your keyboard, right?
Seriously,
the Mario Martinez Show.
We haven't even got to directors or cinematography.
That's my 4th beer.
Oh, she's epic.
Like,
she's at least a 3.
She's a 3.
Yeah, 3.
I'm down 3 all day. She's hot too.
And then she also came back in the X-Men. That was cool. Hans McDormand? No.
2.
A 2. I'm down for a 2 just because that picture is like, did you just wake up?
She's looking at you like, bitch, why are you looking at me? It's like, you're the camera person.
Right.
Those 2.
2. Yeah, I'm down for a 2.
I've seen her in all that stuff.
She's pretty epic.
Yeah, I know her.
I know her.
I know of her.
Not all that.
2.
I agree.
Keep doing your thing, Glenn Close. Gwyneth Paltrow, 3.
3.
Solid. She's doing work.
Okay. Yeah.
She's okay. She's putting in work. She's good.
Yeah.
She's good.
I agree.
4.
Halle Berry?
Really? 4?
You know,
she's good.
I think she's okay. I mean,
she's good. She's not okay. She's good.
A 3.
She's 3.
She's a 3.
She's not great.
She's not all that. Yeah. She has that one song though about herself. It's like Halle Berry.
I also know
Berry.
her. She's a 2. I know her.
She's a 3.
I'll say 3.
You said 3? I said 2.
I know.
Oh, there she goes. Woo!
Woo! Oh, I love her.
I do like her. She's great.
4.
She's great.
She's a 4.
She's good. No, she's good. She's not great.
3.
She's a 3.
She's
really? Good. She's not great.
Well, like, what else do you know besides Fight Club?
Fight Club was so good.
Like, and that one with the pies.
She's good.
In every single Tim Burton movie.
So 3 is fine. I'm okay with the 3. She's a great actress, but
2.
don't know her enough. So
2.
3. Well, we say a 3, but
she got that Julia Roberts mouth. It's like,
I like her, but she's still a 3 for me.
What else has she been in? I mean, she's hot, but she's still a 2 for me.
2?
2? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's like this.
She's actually
these are box office
almost
draw.
good. Maybe she might be good.
Borat's wife. What's his name?
No way.
Yeah, that's his wife. Mm-hmm.
You gotta say Borat's wife.
Let's just go to just Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's a 5.
She's
3.
5.
God, she's a fucking 5. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Bro. She's a 3.
Isn't she the one from Alien? Isn't she the one from Alien?
Although she did do a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I mean you're not wrong.
She's not
in the way that she is legendary.
I mean, yeah.
But
the back
True
is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah, I'm getting.
I'll give her
Tony Curtis.
I'll still give her
Tony Curtis.
She's from Alien, right, Neil?
No, that's Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'll give her a 3.
Never mind. That's why
she's a superstar.
She's still a 3, I would say.
Give her a 3.
A 3? Okay.
She just won an Oscar. Good for her. Her first Oscar. Yeah.
Awesome.
You put her in 4, bro. No accountability.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck it up, man.
3?
People can't just be sliding into the 5s.
Slide into the 4.
I like her.
Really?
I like her, but she's still a 3
because
she tries.
Yeah,
all
friends get 3.
All friends.
That's baseline. You made it. Your success.
Yeah, you're right.
That was a peak show.
Oh, she's smoking hot. I've always had a super crush on her. Yeah, dude, a 5 for sure for me.
Just love this bitch.
It's fucking too hot, dude. She was in Requiem of a Dream. She did a good job.
Look that good. You like her eyebrows, probably. You're weird for eyebrows.
Fucking
Mario's got a weird eyebrow kink.
Yeah,
I'll give her a 2.
Dude.
I'll give her a 2.
I'll give her a 3 at least.
But like, we're not rating them on hotness. And if we were, that'd be different.
Jennifer Garner, I'll give her a 3. She's done great stuff.
She's tried.
She's good, almost great. She's a high level 3.
I'll give her a 2 just because Neal's right.
Damn, y'all putting Jennifer Garner in 2?
She came up a little too fast. I don't really like her.
Jennifer Lawrence for sure a 3, almost a 4. Same thing as
a 3.
Jennifer
she's
Garner.
Definitely a legend.
She's trying hard.
Both those Jennifers should be.
What do you say, Neal?
3.
I mean, as far as great acting goes, that's so subjective.
Neal hates Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, he does.
Hates her with a passion. I remember him saying it one time. Yeah. One time he pulled me aside and he was like,
"Hey, I fucking hate her.
I'm gonna hopefully hide."
And he spit to the side and shit.
You ever see her? Tell her I said this. You know, I think she's just like
piece of shit.
Kind of like the girl from
like
the Peripherals. The
I
one
like her.
I'll give her a 3.
I remember when
she's a solid actor.
Pulled up like some naked photos of her, and I was like, "Damn, she gets down." Yeah, for sure.
Like AI
I respect her.
It's fake, deep fake.
Yeah, probably.
J-Lo?
She thinks too highly of herself, so I say a 2 as well.
J-Lo.
You're just like judging these people. This has nothing to do with their acting ability at all. You're just
3?
like, I don't like that bitch's fucking dress. Fuck that shit. She's a 1.
Didn't you say a 2, Neal?
Yeah.
Okay, I
she's not a great actor.
She's not
famous,
that great.
She's not.
I think she's fucking hot.
3.
She's a legend. 5 or 4.
3.
3 is fine, but
3's
4.
okay.
I'll give it a 3.
Because she's hot. All right, 3 is fine.
All right, let's do something else for the last half hour.
Okay. What do you want to do? And let me take a piss, and you guys can talk
stuff
over it.
Like we used to do.
Because you guys are good at coming up with
Let's
subjects.
just talk like we used to in the olden days.
Now that I just burned like 50 bridges to hiring all these guys in the future. Like, didn't you say that I was a 3 on your out of 5 and you fucking don't really know me for anything? Like, yeah, Don Cheeto, but I need to hire you now. It's like, fuck you, bro. We've done our research. We watched the Mario Martinez episode, number 17. April 13th, 2023. I'm fucking not working with you, you racist prick. Don Cheeto! Don Cheeto's like the man. He can't even get his fucking $20 million for him to get out of bed. You think I'm a 3, bitch? What do you think now? I'm gonna be in your sequel. Could be
That's funny, bro. How you been, dude? What's been with your writing, or what you been up to, bro? I haven't talked to you in at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Dude, I'm
crushing it.
I'm in the grind. So, I'm excited for like the sun to come back around because surfing season's coming up.
Nice.
But I just learned yesterday. Did I mention this? That I didn't get into USC.
Oh, you said that today. Yeah,
Okay.
you said that when you came in today. Wait, what happened with that?
But ironically, I had called a number to talk to the admissions at USC to ask because they had said everywhere else that I had read online had said that you'd be notified by March.
Okay.
So like all March went by and I was like, all right, now it's been 2 weeks. So I ended up calling, must have been Tuesday night, calling their offices and just being like, hey, I'm just wondering if like maybe I missed something. Did you guys, like, what's the deal? When can I even expect a response? Then I got an email yesterday, which I thankfully didn't even like refresh my feed or my email. I didn't refresh it. So like I went on my date and I did a bunch of other stuff without knowing the news, which was probably for the best, because it allowed me to just be in a good mood without thinking like, oh, fuck, I just need to get in. But ironically, I also didn't even really feel any, I was telling Mom this today, I didn't even really feel any negative emotion towards not getting in. Although it is ironic because there's something to be said for my new philosophy, which is like not to dig up the seed to check if it's growing. So it's like, the fact that I called,
or was that mean?
Well, the fact that I called, it'll never be connected exactly. But the fact that I called and asked about my admissions, it was like, okay, did that really need to take place? I don't know. But also, even further, ironically, I got a call from the LASD, which I mentioned, so that'll be good because
get your
to be able to be authorized for that. Yeah. So it's like, one door opens, another door closes.
Allowing things to flow around you, flow into your...
You want a beer?
Allowing things to develop and gestate accordingly, right? It's like we have a hand in helping to cultivate an environment, which is our life. But yes, we do need to have a degree of allowing things to mature, right? Yeah, like you said, checking on the seed, digging up the soil. So there's that balance of, I mean, I don't know if that would be, I'm good, thank you. I don't know if that would be the same thing as checking on or like uprooting the seed as much as it would be just like watering it. You know, it's like you got to keep watering it. So,
yeah.
But sometimes you can drown the seed.
I just wonder, like, is it connected? And I think in some levels it is. Like, deep down, I think, like, is it connected? Probably. It was probably like somebody got my message, was like, oh shit, that guy doesn't, because in the email it was also like, we've been getting word that not everybody has gotten the response or whatever from our office. So people are probably calling them to check on it. And they're like, oh shit, we'll send an email to this guy. Either way, it's not even that. It's the fact that it actually cost me nothing out of pocket to apply. You know, I just had to write a bunch, which I also think is good practice for all the time, just to be able to continue practice writing. Mm-hmm. But it was just the mood that you are in when you're pursuing a goal that you believe is worthwhile elevates your whole spirit, because then you're like still trying for better. So, you know, same thing with people that are trying the dating apps, people that are actually seeking contentment. It's like, you know, are things good enough for you in your own judgment? And if they are, then enjoy them and, like, you know, enjoy eating the fruit of your work, because you don't, for whatever reason, we don't just get to enjoy things without, in some level, cultivating an environment to do so. Even if it's just making sure that we're like, you want to enjoy nature, sure, that's free, but you have to make sure that you're protected from nature at the same time, or else eventually it will do its best to consume you into itself. So it's like, you know, so in my mind, it's just like, cost me nothing to apply. And it's like the waves. It's just like, well, another thing will come that I'll want to try to do. It's like, it's more in the process of trying that you get better anyways, versus like succeeding. Like, that would have been a major shift. I'm not mad that it didn't happen, but I am happy at least to get closure for it finally, because I was waiting for that for a while.
Right.
So be it.
The hard part is when you want, I think, specific results pertaining to your craft. You know, because it's one thing to create art and one thing to create at all. It's another thing to want specific results. So, like, as an artist, it can be tricky because we don't always get the physical results that we maybe necessarily want. Like, when you're crafting, when you're civil engineering, if you have a goal of building a bridge or a building, you're going to get that result or you fail. As an artist, some of the success of art, in my opinion, is the crafting of it itself. So writing those letters or writing those, whatever you had to write to submit to the college, that was part of the success versus as an artist, versus, like, you know, getting to actually go into the college, the result. And so in the same way, I think as any artist, doing this right now as a podcast is the fun part, is the enjoyable part in a way, Mario, just as much as getting the result of like 1 million people or becoming Joe Rogan status
how would that change anything?
So in the same way, it's like for me, like in my, or anybody's pursuit, it's like, if you can find something that you enjoy the journey with, or you enjoy the journey or the activity doing, then you don't necessarily have to worry about the results as much, because you really enjoy the activity. The results come as a bonus, you know, as long as, if you like writing, if you like working on music, if you like podcasting, if you like whatever, you spend time doing that and you've already won, because you're not trying to get to a result. The result is the activity itself. Right. And whatever comes after that is the bonus. So like, I think that's the secret to like, certain types of happiness, certain types of enjoyment, is finding that. And so it sounds like, you know,
that's part of it. It was just a bunch of writing samples I had to submit. So
you're on your way to riding the waves, and you're having fun doing it. So that sounds cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
So that's one thing.
I totally agree. It's so interesting because Neal brought this up last time on the last podcast, that there are certain levels that people can connect to, and channels they can be like, you know how we were talking about, I made the whole deal about 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I mean? You were saying 5, and then Neal was saying it was just like your perspective. It's the art is what the perceiver makes of it, right? And what that means is, in my eyes, is that you should make stuff that you're willing to do even for free. Like if there was no market in making podcasts, I'd like to make something like this. I would have never thought of doing it this way because I honestly think that this is like so like secondary. It's so like basic, so like not production value versus just doing it and just seeing where that's gonna go.
Right.
And that's where art comes in. And honestly,
practice. You gotta practice.
Yeah,
being an artist,
that's true too. But what I'm really, my goal of this show in some way is just, and I've brought this up before, and I don't want to be a broken record, is that I want to be genuine. I don't want to make a fakery of who you guys are. I don't want to give you guys a script and be like, this is what I need you to be because you have a face for it. And you're my friend, and I think you're willing to do it. Even though if I'm written the script, I'm sure you guys would do it still, you know? Probably not.
I didn't sign up for that.
I wouldn't want that from you because you guys are not actors. I mean, if you guys were claiming yourself to be actors and I give you a script, I would expect you guys to do that. But because I like you guys for who you are, and that's why, in a way, you're my friends. Because I value your opinion. Yeah. I value the choices you've done in your life, and I value your ability to analyze situations and have a response, and have an opinion, and have a trajectory of which you would assess yourself in a different environment. Like when I talk to you guys about my situations, I really want to hear your opinion because what would you have done? You know what I mean? I'm telling you in a way a story I went through and be like, well, how would you have played it? Because that's what really life is a amalgamation of stories of days and years and, you know, millenniums you've lived through to then make you who you are. And the first 20 years of your life really makes up the rest of your life. Your idealized version of what reality represents has been drafted, and the foundations from what you experience in your early first 20s till you were 20, because your childhood is a huge factor for how you perceive other children. And that's what makes humans so interesting, because they go through the process of being super vulnerable and then learning tools and environments and situations and ability to cooperate with others that led to then making technology, then led to building societies, building culture, building tools. And I feel like that is a genuine version of who you are and what you represent. And I want to capture that. And honestly, in the internet now, I don't want to make this a long thing, but in the internet now, all you need is one. What that means is that you need that one video that just goes viral. That one video that just like, holy shit, everybody saw it. Because everybody's calling you and saying, did you see that video of, I don't know, what you said or what happened or how you reacted or whatever it may be. And everybody saw it. And now it's a thing. What it represents, who knows? I mean, I did a viral photo once. Remember the viral photo of me?
The grizzly bear?
By the grizzly bear that we photoshopped. So we ran from this bush. Have you seen it, right? I can bring it up right now. But before I keep going on, what do you guys think about that? What do you think I'm making out of my show? How do you guys see me doing this shit?
The only value this thing has is the present moment, which is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, which is like if you're not enjoying actually doing it, that sucks to be you because you're then deriving your emotions from the past, which is interesting, but not as palpable as the present. So the emotions you're getting now for yourself, I mean, we all use drugs and alcohol and whatever else, exercise to maintain that mind state, but it's like, what do you want the most out of your life and how you can get it? That's the only thing that really matters. Now, what you believe
This is the photo.
Nacho God.
Shit.
Nacho Bear photo.
I literally typed wild photography gone wrong. And boom, first fucking thing, dude. This is me, fat as fuck, out in the fucking, mountains.
How viral did it go? How far did it go?
Sangre de Cristo Mountains in Colorado, dude.
Sangre de Cristo.
We did this photo of us running from this, hill.
And you're smiling. You're like, oh, man.
I'm smiling because this was hilarious to me. Because
it's all fake. And you're at the front and you're just chuckling to yourself.
This is this guy, Nathan. He planned it all. And he told us, hey, let's just go up to the hill, this point, and then you carry this, and I'll run this way, and we can't smile. That's the one thing you can't do. You can't smile. And I was like, oh no. And I couldn't help it, dude. Eventually they captured this photo, and out of hundreds of other photos, dude, we were looking at 100 other photos, honestly.
That means you were laughing the whole time.
And they were like, this one looks the best. Because homeboy right here, his face is priceless right here. Because this is the main focus of the whole photo.
So you guys aren't edited in Photoshop on here? It's
no,
just the bear.
We're not edited in Photoshop at all. Just the bear was Photoshopped. It's
really well done.
And this is, it looks real. Yeah.
You can tell now looking at it, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it happened at the time when it came out. Just work out that we got the right angle.
So what do you mean when you say it went viral? Where did it spread to?
Dude, I literally typed wildlife photography gone wrong.
So it's on Reddit.
And it's the first photo, bro. Photos. It's the first photo.
Is it viral though? Ethan throws that word around a lot, and it's like,
all right, go back to Google.
Scroll down. That's just like, you heard about that.
Scroll through Google and see what.
Okay,
that video
so this is what I wrote, and then I hit images, and then what happens? Still the first fucking photo on Reddit, and then a bunch of actual wild photos of animals versus people in it.
So you only know it through Reddit? It's not on any other websites?
What I mean by this is that I didn't become famous.
Yeah.
It's just something that happens.
Yeah.
And either you ride the wave or you don't ride the wave. And what it means to ride the wave is to already be geared in the concept of what the wave consists of. You gotta have a board. You gotta know a sense of balance. You gotta jump at the right time. It's like, I'm sure Neal can go more into detail because he's an actual surfer. But from what I've heard of what it takes to ride a wave, timing is huge, and knowing what to do at the right time. And I didn't capitalize on it. Nathan reached out to us because after a year, it was still going viral and it was still getting more and more likes.
How many views is that? Let me see.
It had a couple thousand. I mean, it's really old. It's from 2000, maybe 10, so it's like 13 years old. And if we visit the site back over here in Reddit, it has almost 3,000 likes, and this was posted. Where does it say when it was posted?
Where does it say it links to? Like, does it link to another site? Or is that an original?
If I go,
Are funny? Are funny? That's the profile that posted it?
Yeah, that's the profile that posted it. The thing is that we did that photo. We photoshopped it as a joke to send it to Nathan's wife to scare her.
Oh, really?
To thinking that, oh shit, look at what we went through, you know what I mean? And she was like, it's totally fake because Mario's laughing. Nathan honestly picked it up right out the gate, but she still shared it with her friends. Is what's so interesting about it, because she shared it with her friends, and that got shared by other friends, and then slowly but surely a rippled effect onto the rest of the world.
So it just went through Nathan's wife's friends group.
How far did it go viral?
It's still going viral now. Like the first thing.
He just saw one thing on Reddit and then he just jumped all this other shit.
But this is 13 years ago. You know what I mean?
So, show me proof.
I don't know how else to prove what viral
is.
I don't think. Oh, you know what?
You
There's Google Trends. Have you ever checked that out? Google Trends?
What's the name of the picture? Like, if you don't even know the name of the picture, then it's not that viral. Like, it should have a name.
Google Trends is so interesting, dude. You can literally type anything on here and it'll graph out how often it has been shared. Like for the word America.
What did the website call the picture? Can you go back to the website?
Wildlife.
No, like go back to the website and like right click and say like open image in different tab or whatever and see what the name pops up as.
Visit.
Just right click on the image and click open image in new tab. Down. One more.
Right here?
Down. Halfway down. There.
Open image on a new tab. I see.
Alright, and let's click on that. Let's see. So it just gives it a generic name. Let's see. Click on the URL. What does it say?
Okay.
External preview. What do they name it? Do they name it anything?
So this.
This is the original file that got uploaded.
Reddit. It's on Reddit, dude. It says Reddit right here.
Oh yeah, no, but I was looking up to see if there was a name of the file. So they didn't name anything. It's just a generic.
Yeah,
poll.
That's how I pulled it up.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So
what constitutes viral to you? Like, this is interesting. What does viral mean to you?
Viral means, for one, I've heard of it. It's kind of like the idea of being famous.
How do you prove it?
If I haven't heard of it, then it's not famous to me. So viral means, one, I've heard of it.
I'm sure I've showed you this photo before. You just don't remember.
And then two, once I've heard of it, I can look it up and immediately see it from several sources. So if I type it in on Google...
So you don't remember this photo when it went out?
Type it in on Google right now. To be viral, I think there should be several links of the image to different sources. That means it's coming from more than just Reddit. So if I see it on like Reddit, eBaum's World, MySpace, Instagram, and Facebook, I'll be like, oh shit, you got 6 sources that are all sharing
the same
that image, and you can show it, and those 6 different places.
Examples.
Show me one other place
really
besides.
Viral, then.
What's that?
What's an example of something that you think is
exactly.
viral?
Give me something that's
TikTok
actually
videos, Instagram videos,
or something that's really viral. How about
a photo on anything would go viral?
That's something where I can take the video name and I can type it into Google.
Like Chocolate Rain. Is Chocolate Rain viral?
Chocolate Rain, for sure.
Because I heard about that whether I wanted to or not. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
You put Chocolate Rain
what do you think? Is Chocolate Rain viral?
I don't know.
South Park thinks it is.
Chocolate Rain.
You don't know what that is?
You put Chocolate Rain into the website, and you're gonna have so many. You're gonna have like
I don't
endless forums and websites that are talking about Chocolate Rain.
I'm like, okay, that's viral.
You heard Chocolate Rain, right?
No.
Yeah.
Chocolate Rain.
No.
Yeah, well, look it up right now. You haven't seen that? You're the last person in this party.
There you go. So this
2
is
girls,
what I
1
mean.
cup.
Oh yeah, 2 girls, 1 cup.
Even though I never saw it because I heard it was so gross.
It's so gross.
Don't want to see the grossness.
Can I tell you about it?
No, thank you.
They're eating shit.
Please stop. Just don't do it.
Yeah, out of a cup.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't care.
Yeah,
the world's
and
gross.
they love it.
People, yeah.
It's like the thing. It's
I
like
shouldn't have brought it up. I shouldn't. It's too easy for you to get distracted. Yeah. How about something else that's viral?
What?
Curious George. Was Curious George viral? I think it was for
100%.
Oh,
you can type
Charlie
it in and
bit
see
my
it from
finger.
multiple sources.
You go to the.
Did you ever hear that one?
Yeah.
Charlie bit my finger.
Bit me. That was
it's just a viral video.
I definitely saw that.
And all he did was
can
like
you think of
bite
something
his
not
finger,
viral?
and it was just
Everything.
perfect.
Other than those 4 things we just mentioned.
That's what I consider viral.
And COVID.
But at the same time,
well, it's
thousands
not viral,
of
but
videos.
also news.
What?
I mean, like
entertainment, something new. So, like any piece of information is something new. It's
Oscar worthy, but not well cast.
I guess
what's news, but not viral.
There's a difference between the artist actually making something intended to be art and something was captured in real life. Where like Charlie bit my finger was captured in real life. It just happened to be the dad recording the kids hanging out. And he was like, I'm going to post this. And somebody was like, that's hilarious. I'm going to clip that. And that clip spread and spread and spread. You know? Who these kids are they famous? Are they successful because of that? I don't think so. I think they were like, oh yeah, I'm known for that. Because
there's
Charlie.
a lot of people that are known for memes.
Yeah,
nowadays.
but they weren't $1 million people. You know, they're not. They didn't make success out of it.
Viral doesn't mean success.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about virality here.
So you mean
that's the right word?
Virality.
Virality.
So,
how viral are you? Is this viral? What, I don't see it on anything besides Reddit. So I need another. To call this viral. It's interesting.
I mean, we can always go down viral? Here and open up.
Was that
more?
really the heart of whether or not? What was the real heart of you bringing up this picture of viral?
Just living the past.
What I mean is that all it takes is one. All it takes is one
good image,
one image,
or
one
thing.
Clip, one version of you making sense.
Right.
Like no one else. I
totally agree with that for sure.
And people love you for it.
Yeah,
I think it's the other way around. I think that what you're talking about is the tipping point. But what it takes is a complete singular focus on one thing. So if this becomes your thing that you become known for, sure. But then no matter who came to you and tried to change you because you're famous, you wouldn't, because you found the fame because you were doing what you wanted to do by focusing on one thing. The opposite is not true. You don't just become famous and stay famous. Like all the people who went viral don't have jobs doing that, like you said. I mean, you could try to ride out that fame, even one-hit wonders for a little while. Like if you crack into any business of entertainment and capture the attention. And that's what we say, like, oh, Eddie Murphy fell off or whatever we were saying. It's like, well, not only do you have to capture it, but then you have to maintain it. And that's a whole nother beast, Like,
well, I guess the graph I'm basing it off.
Don't hurt me, Eddie Murphy. I'm just some dude.
Hey, what do I know, right?
Motherfucker. The graph we're crafting this from our perspective in some way.
I'll put this as a 1. This is a 1.
Sure.
In the 1
I'm down. I'm down for a 1 because it's 13 years old.
Yeah.
It's like those old ladies that were in the movies and they were super famous.
It's not even on that level because it was never famous like Bette Davis.
Exactly. I'm sure you're right, but there's a point right here where they this is where we got the bear from.
They're like, oh shit, how do we?
Isn't that cool?
Look at that one. So they
that's where we got the bear from. It's
so they busted you.
It happens to be good writing. No, I think they all knew it was fake.
What's that website? Go to Quora. What's the question?
Yeah,
I'll see News 18.
I think they all knew that was fake. It just happened to be funny. You know?
Mm-hmm. So funny. Made me laugh.
Yeah. But fame and virality, what Grant was saying earlier, it's like art, right?
Like, I'll never reach them.
No, it's not. You know what it is? It's you got to have whatever this one guy said in his TikTok, which was something like you got to have a clear challenge. You got to have
TikTok. Did you say TikTok?
Bro. TikTok.
Like this is
TikTok.
Let me tell you about a video I saw on TikTok, and it has all the evidence you might need in 10 seconds. It's great. So like, what the fuck?
So like, what it is you gotta have like the basics of it is I can't remember exactly, but we'll figure it out as we go right now. We'll think about it together. But what it is
he wants to ride this train and see how low it can go.
Is like there was this one video where this guy had a hair curler, right?
Oh my god. We're in like Mariana's Trench right now.
A hair curler, the flat irons, right? Is that what it's called? The flat irons? And so he had a bunch of popcorn kernels. And he would put the popcorn kernel in the hot iron. And you're waiting for it to pop. And so the whole time, like he's on live too. So he's sitting there and he's like, and he keeps dropping the corn. And so you think it's fake. You think it's like the corn's never going to pop because he keeps dropping it down on the ground and picking it back up. And there's like the whole room's filled with corn. Like it's a whole set. And he's just sitting there on TikTok trying to pop this corn. And you're waiting for it to pop. And then eventually it does pop. And then the whole chat and there's like 25,000 or maybe like 3,000 people that are watching this. There's like 20, like it fluctuates between like 2,500 and 3,000. There's a shit ton of people watching this on TikTok. And then eventually the popcorn pops. So like, what do you need to be entertaining? I think it kind of, that
Are you telling me I gotta get on TikTok?
No, that live emulates what you need is like to be dramatic, you need something like a character, like an, what would it be? A protagonist. So the protagonist is the guy that's trying to move through the environment. You need a challenge, and it needs to be difficult where the person can't just like overcome it easily. and you need some tools in the accomplishment of that challenge through interesting ways. You know? And so it's like, if you can like recognize those three things, you can easily apply that to a drama. You have a protagonist, you have something that's preventing him, or you have a goal, and then you have something that's preventing him from that goal, and then you have some tools that get him to that goal.
Yeah, classic.
So if you learn all this in 10 seconds
from a TikTok,
yeah.
I mean, I learned it from a lot of different things, but definitely like showed me.
Are you on TikTok, Neal?
No.
Who's not on TikTok?
Me neither.
Hey, you're on Instagram, bro. You send me hundreds, at least tens of videos a day.
Yes.
That's the exact same thing as TikTok. TikTok is just random videos. Instagram, you get the exact same feeds as TikTok.
Why do you do TikTok then? Like TikTok is
because TikTok's platform is easier because it doesn't show the whole profile; it just shows the content. Instagram, as you're
too complicated to hit another button to then get feed.
No,
this is like a counseling session where you just throw the podcast and air it out. Yeah, really get into it. Why do you fucking hate TikTok, Mario and Grant? Why haven't you guys been talking about this?
I hate TikTok.
Instagram just
TikTok.
Instagram just sucks because like when Instagram you're going through the
does
content,
the same thing as TikTok.
It just doesn't hit the same way.
Oh my god!
It's easy. It's
easier
to navigate.
It's that blue shit.
TikTok. The navigation is easier, and the profiles are more interesting.
I open the app and it's like,
I like Imager. I use that sometimes.
I still go on Imager. I thought you deleted Imager.
I deleted Imager.
I've had too many points.
It was
too many points to delete.
I was posting regularly on Imager at one point because I was finding hilarious videos and he hated me sending them. I didn't care, but I was like, maybe I should send them out into the world. You know what I mean? And I was literally copying and pasting funny videos that I thought, and I was getting thousands of views, dude. It was great. Thousands. Until then, a group of motherfuckers were like, hey man, you're posting the videos we're posting, and it happens to be true. And I was like, those are hilarious. Not every time. It was just like every so often. And they were just grilling me. And every time I posted anything, they were just like, faker, fucking douchebag.
What platform was this?
It was on Imager.
On Imager.
Yeah, they were like, hey, you should at least put the creator on the hashtag creator of this guy.
Guys, dude, don't
like,
just keep
exactly. You're big phony.
That's
phony.
That's people. Fuck them.
That's how I felt, and I was still doing it, but I was like, it's like not that enjoyable. It's like it's work that doesn't give any reward. Mainly because the negative aspect of it is so toxic that I was like, I'm not even going to continue. I'm not getting any money off of it, so why should I do it? I was just doing it because I thought it was cool. Where like I was getting a lot of positive reaction because people were liking my videos, but at the same time, the guys that were commenting, going an extra step just to be fucking douchebag, I was like, I don't need to go through this. I'm not seeing the benefit in it, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, you started getting a little angry when you opened up your Imager. And you're like, I don't need this shit.
Yeah. I was doing the same thing. Honestly, a lot of the videos, I was getting them from Instagram. Because Instagram has the explore option. And obviously, if you're looking at ass and tits most of the time, that's all you'll get in it. But if you look at like cars and technology and graphics and engineering and different stuff like that, you get a lot of that same feed. And that's what I've been getting, and that's what I was posting. And it's just like some people like they want their credibility in some way, you know, like, hey, I should be getting credit for that. You should be like, hey, hashtag me. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, man, fuck me.
You're reposting people's content? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I was a faker.
Were you claiming it as your own? Like
obviously not. I was just posting it on my
Then you're just
channel.
helping them out.
But like they interpret it as like I'm stealing their intellectual
rise above that
property,
negativity, bro. Don't mind.
Which there is a law on that.
No,
there is a law. Intellectual property?
Now, if they posted it on any social media ever, you can take that and send it until the company tells you to stop then.
The internet has been so insaturated with other people's content that lawyers have literally been like, intellectual property stretches beyond just sharing. You know what I mean? Because there's so many cases of people suing other people for uploading their own shit that the line is so long. Where like it's not even worth waiting.
No one does. We use stuff that is taken from YouTube all the time. We broadcast it over the news. It's called fair use.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it's gotten so saturated with people complaining that they're like, we can't manage all this volume, so we're just YouTube and most other social media sharing
they've got
companies.
algorithms in there that will recognize if you use copywritten material and flag it.
I guess what I'm leading to with that is that the way in which the law actually became to be this way is because the complaints were so high that they couldn't deal with the volume, that were like, hey, it happens to just be legal to share, even though they're not gaining anything from it, and the people that created it are getting all the publicity for it. They still want some type of compensation. And that was the problem with intellectual property. The concept of intellectual property is what I mean. Because artists, like big shot artists, use intellectual property to make money off of their shit. You know what I mean? Because people rip their shit all the time. Especially if there's new shit, like new Drake shit, new Talib Kweli shit, new anything. People fucking use that for their own fucking videos hanging out in some club or whatever. So they gotta get some compensation from that, right? And that's what I mean.
Well, there's all sorts of crazy things like that people do that are they're not collecting royalties for, but there are other ways that people collect royalties for their different IP. And at the same time, there's a lot that does get ripped off. The real question is do the people that are ripping you off, are they making enough money to where it's worthwhile for you to spend your money to just file a lawsuit against them?
Yeah, because
and sometimes it is, but for the most part, you only see it among things that are really either very successful to where it's like, okay, what was it? I don't even remember the scandal, but the guy who was like copied, it was like Pharrell and whoever else that one other guy was, and I just remember that it was like he was all in the news for copying something, and it's like that didn't become a thing. Oh shit, that didn't become a thing until he made a shitload of money off it. So. Like, because it costs so much money to make lawsuits, it's like you wouldn't launch one unless you thought you're going to make your money back.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like, who's going to stop you? Although I will say a lot of these social media sites do have natural filters in there that block. You can't just reprint stuff, and they allow you to share between them. So I mean, the fact that these guys were hating on you, it's like that's their own fault. They can if they want. They can't do anything about it. You know what you'll get first, though. If you violate somebody's IP hard enough, you'll get a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing.
I wasn't worried about it. I was just like, I just didn't feel the urge to want to share. You know what I mean?
Yeah, took the fun out.
I was sending it to Grant then, actually. When I couldn't post it on Imgur, I was like, oh, okay, then Grant's kind of...
Grant will be your audience.
Yeah.
I'll just share with Grant all the time.
It's like, I'm just going to send it to him as long as he sees it, maybe, you know? Mm-hmm. He's the only one that bitched about it that didn't bitch that much. He was like, whatever. He just ignores all my posts, really. I sent to him. It's smart. It makes sense.
Sometimes I'll watch them.
Sometimes.
Very rarely.
Sometimes.
On a blue moon.
Sometimes I'll go in, like randomly when he'll send me like 8 in a day. I'm like, well, there must be some good content today. And then I'll look at him and I'll be like, all right, this one's okay. Send me more content like that.
Yeah, and that's
this one is good, Mario.
Yeah.
Bring me more like this.
Yeah. This is what I'm trying to get.
It's funny because I have 2 or 3 other friends that do the same thing, but their styles are so fucking weird. They send me some crazy shit where like, I didn't want to see that, bro. Like that was
Japanese.
Some like accidents kind of shit where like some people got hurt at the end where I was like, I don't want to see that. That's not funny, you know? But and then there's like these are just hot chicks, like no doubt, for sure. I agree with all this, but I don't want to see hot chicks all the time. Period. Even though I do see a lot of hot chicks on my Instagram all the time. We're like,
I thought you said you see technical stuff and inspirational quotes and shit.
But you can't.
Because that's all I see anymore is things that educate me and improve me, not tits and ass. I do see a lot of tits and ass.
I follow channels I follow channels that are
You're searching
engineering
for it.
and
Algorithms got
technology
you.
and all these things. But every so often, I don't see any post on my feed. So I go to the Explorer option, and the Explorer option gives you like technology and stuff, and then ass, and then tits, and then more exploratory shit like, you know, science and technology.
That's because you keep
and
looking
then
at
ass.
that stuff.
Oh,
If you click on it,
yeah.
or if you are scrolling by it and you stay too long looking at anything, it's gonna be like, oh shit, he wants to see more of this.
They might even be able to tell what we're looking at in like a grid system, I think.
Yeah.
Because like they can actually read your face to do the FaceTime and open up your phone. So I bet you they can track your iris bouncing around to what quadrant or 16th, you know, it's like to see what's actually capturing time.
Dude, your screen brightness is regulated by the camera's ability to see brightness in your environment. Yeah. So judging by that, it adjusts your brightness, which saves a lot of your memory. I mean your battery. But like at the same time, it's like you can tell that they got taps on the fucking camera, you know. So like, fuck it, you know.
Fuck it, they're watching us like all the time, like, you know.
Well, that's not. I mean, the crazy thing. The crazy thing is it's always only used retroactively because it makes sense because there's too many people to analyze the data. So like, it doesn't matter. And same thing with like murders. Like, there's people out there that are devoting their entire lives to solving real crimes that are happening. So like the digital world, as crazy as that is, that doesn't really affect the real world until money starts missing, which is why, or crazy crimes happen online, which do, of course. But the point is you know, it's more about like there's people that have to deal with real problems. So it's like if you don't like some part of online, it is back to what we were saying with Lawyer Town. It's like you just sue to.
What if all of our phones were being tapped 100% of the time? Everything was being tapped all the time, and they just put it on some banks of memory that just loop every 2 days or something. So it's a huge, massive bank of hard drives.
Happens,
and so like they're literally listening to every conversation all the time, but it's just over a 2-day period. That would be like
like how far back could they go?
So it's like like how long? But essentially it'd be like they have a bank and like so they're recording it all, but yet they don't need to like listen to it unless they need to. So if they're searching for something, you can immediately look up and be like, give me a conversation about this, and then it searches the bank within the last 2 days.
Because that's probably what it is.
That would be so advanced. You know, so they are listening to it, but they're not listening to it actively.
There's a lot of cases that we've been running at the news where like after the fact, after a murder or something happens, they look at their search history, even though it's been cleared out. So like that is something that really is getting stored. I don't know how long, but like, but then they only look at that once somebody goes missing or some crazy shit happens in terms of the law, and they're like, okay, but what was this person Googling? How to make bombs? Oh shit, clearly like.
And how detailed,
I think the word is a subject of interest, which means, okay, this guy, there was a bombing in this church. Okay, who was there?
We're now
on
all sorts of blacklists.
In
this room.
Anyone
in the bombing in this.
Yeah. Oh, it's something like that. You know, anything in the sense that it could jeopardize national security, or like a Russian guy happened to be.
Say more buzzwords: terrorism.
Anyways.
President Barack Obama. Nuclear capabilities. Iran.
Sure.
The Shah of. It's like
Russia,
just tripping
China,
the
becoming friends.
Yeah,
What else? So
be careful.
So when you're a subject of interest, then they start recording. Then the gigabytes start raising.
After the fact.
Yes. Yeah. So as soon as you're a subject of interest, the factor is collect information. You know, basic tendencies. If you look at the mechanics of war and the mechanics of staying on top of what your enemy is capable of, you need to think like a fucking criminal in some way. And you need to act like a criminal. If you want national security, if you're talking about national security,
you gotta act like a criminal.
If you're talking about national security, you gotta know where the criminals are coming from.
Dude, the laws don't even apply to the government. They make the laws. So like,
well, the laws are made to
kill, dude.
Prevent people from murdering. Where it's easy to not do that. Yeah. But like national security
I also think that
means,
a lot of these things too about in terms of apps and people actually using the information, they do have really solid protocols in place for privacy. So for the most part, you would have to subpoena Google, from my understanding. Of course, I'm sure there's some back deals, like if something crazy terrorist happened. Like, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of crazy shit going on in America. The most crazy thing we have are mass shootings, which happen quite a bit, and regular day-to-day crime and regular day-to-day accidents and whatnot. But there's not tsunamis washing up thousands of people on the beaches. Not right now. There's not, people are, for the most part, at peace. So it just serves that the privacy that is included in the apps is really mostly collected for advertising, which is why you'll say things and it all, you can read through. And that was actually why one of Apple's original successes was Apple became so successful because of their privacy. They really did. And they still maintain that to where they don't just flip your stuff to the government until they come at, of course, that's what they say. Who knows what's happening in the background? That's Illuminati conspiracy bullshit. So it's like the way that you have to actually look at it is, there's too many people for them to track everybody at once and actually maintain a real good picture on, but they'll track your destinations, let's say. So if they watch you do go to the same 5 places in the course of a week for months and months and months, it's like, you might ping a different sort of algorithm if you go somewhere else or somewhere different or somewhere high. Right. Like that they protected, like that's a government site. So you never know. But I think the privacy is a very normal thing with the apps now. I trust it. I mean, what are they going to do? Like, you would have to be doing some crazy criminal shit to have Instagram turn over your looking at TNA, and be like, this guy is like, he looks at TNA, but like a lot. And the FBI is like, cool, let me check this guy out. He's just a regular dude. It's like, what are you really going to do on Instagram? It's like,
What do you think, Grant? Before I say what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
Well, I'm going to say, you
have something to say?
I think Grant's holding back. I think he's trying to say something about gravity. I think he's trying to steer things towards gravity again. He usually does that. But if I were to interject in that concept...
You're not, because I stopped talking. But I'll interject now in a second.
National security is a very interesting subject because that's where you start analyzing what you should prepare that the enemy is totally capable of doing. And oftentimes it's some gruesome shit that you gotta watch out for and you need to prepare for. And if China is spreading their capabilities and their influences into other countries, like South Korea, like places that are close to the United States, you gotta set military bases to monitor the situation before fucking nuclear weapons are being transferred there and we don't even know about it. And now we have a weakness. They have a edge to explore that we can't capitalize on it because we don't have the information for it.
Have you seen this thing?
So
you type in Illuminati. Have you seen this?
No. What is this?
I'm listening now. And then you reverse it. So what is it? Hold up.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's
ITANIMULLI. Right?
Itamiluli.
And then you go like, no, I don't want that version. This.
Oh,
www.illuminatibackwards.com.
Huh.
Where did it go?
What is this? Oh, the government? National Security Agency? Central Service Security Services? Oh, wow.
I've seen a story on this, though. Like, the guy that got it just was some guy that bought the directory for that URL, and then he just rerouted it to the NSA website. That makes sense. So he created essentially...
Because they'd allow that to happen.
They would allow it to happen?
Like, yeah, you can just reroute your URL to our website. We're a professional government agency.
It's essentially an ad. It's an advertisement website. So it's an ad that advertises for them. Like, they can't prevent it. It's free directional press in a way. It's like you can have a website that is a directory or points to something else. You're not saying anything slanderous about them. You're just redirecting. So if they didn't realize that it was a redirectory, at least let's see.
But like,
it says NSA.gov. It doesn't say whatever that Illuminati thing that you put in. It's not that. It's a redirectory.
Have you ever been to relentless.com?
No.
I bet you have.
Relentless? I bet you have.
I bet you have and didn't even know it. Maybe.
The interesting thing about
here.
What I meant by the interesting thing about national security is that you want to have an Illuminati. Oh, Google, Amazon? It went to Amazon?
Yeah, because Jeff Bezos bought that back in the day, and then when
really relentless, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, because that was his model at that time. That's what he wanted to make his slogan, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, "Okay, that's so fucking crazy, motherfucker. Calm down."
Mm-hmm. Like relentless.
Yeah,
it's a little aggressive, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive.
I'm relentless.
Son. But that's kind of cool.
Groceries.
That's kind of gangster that he did that, though.
One day.
I would do that, too. If I had an idea like that, I'd be like, fuck yeah, we're going to fucking redirect them motherfuckers to Amazon. Because that's my fucking dollar bill. You know what I mean?
Started with books.
Yeah, which is knowledge. Which sells well. If you look at the market of books, it's always done well. Where it's being sold and how it's being spread, that's a different concept. That's a different market. But the concept of books and knowledge has always been
Look that up. I want to see that as a stat. How have books sold over time?
I wouldn't. I don't know.
I wouldn't type that in if I were you.
I mean, I
wouldn't be ready for those answers.
But that's why Jeff Bezos chose to sell books online, because it was the most consistent market that always garnered work throughout the whole year, versus other products that are common but yet not consistent.
Where'd you hear that?
In the documentary for Amazon. Yeah, that's why he chose books. There was another concept, I forget what it was, where he was trying to go in a different direction, but like his advisors kind of convinced him that, hey, books is the answer. And I think the reason why is because if they were successful at the beginning, they can actually buy a scanning facility, so they can just prevent, instead of having someone pay to get all the books scanned to be digital, and then translate them to somebody reading them or somebody buying them online. They needed to buy the work that did all that work, and that was cheap if they were enough successful, and happens to work out. I might be paraphrasing a lot of this, but I'm pretty sure that was.
But you paraphrased your whole life, Mario.
I love documentaries.
You've always been a paraphraser.
So, like, if the director doesn't have it within his heart to be accurate historically, I might have false information, honestly. That's the problem about just learning from documentaries and taking that as truth, is that I don't verify all my sources, because there's too many sources to look, honestly. Like, I didn't think I was going to talk about this subject. It just happened to pop up in my head, and I'm like, I'm going to share this part. You know? But,
being overconfident in something that you don't really know about is a normal thing. Very American.
I think it's very human. I think anytime you speak of anything, it's like a story. I don't know if you're going to go on and verify that's true. And who is it to say that might not be true in the future? You know? Like, if you see the graph over time, you could probably see an increase of books.
A broken clock is right twice a day. It's like, just because you're always talking bullshit and something's right doesn't mean that it's the same
If you say at the right time, at the right place, you got it right.
That
doesn't mean you're right.
Well, even beyond that, it doesn't mean that you have even a responsibility to be right. No one's blaming you for being wrong. And at the same time, it's not like you can even use that right. Like, what do you want to be right for?
Right. You're right about that.
To what? Be the instructor?
Sensei?
I'm good. Everyone is already confident in their own, understanding of something to some degree. But the thing that rubs me wrong is when people say things that they know nothing about and then pass it off as their opinion. It's like, well, there's a difference between making a judgment on something that you understand and saying that you understand something and therefore that your judgment is valid. So when people do the latter, that it's like, cool, well, everyone starts out with a full stack of chips in my mind. It's like the more you take away from those things in your own mind, it's just like, cool, I'm not going to respect that. I'm not going to respect that. It's like, it's not my fault. It's just the way that I naturally am set up to. I'd much rather say I don't know than like start talking about something just because to not know makes you feel like inadequate. It's like, no, there's a lot of stuff you don't know, and everything that you think you know might not be true. Like
there are times where, like, of course you don't know nothing, but the result is the same. For example, the success of Amazon was because of books, because it was the first item when they started selling. Whether it was for the reason I stated may or may not be true, but it still speaks to the result that ended up happening.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Amazon.
But that's like even worse, because now you're providing a false idea for people to understand the reason, and it's not even accurate. So you're leading people down the wrong path, which is worse than not leading them anywhere. So it's better to stand there and say, like, people are going to
start remembering that? I think they're going to remember that they sold books rather than their success was only because of books, right?
That's not what we're talking about.
That's what I mean by that.
Right, and if you use your so-called truisms in that way, then you're always going to be right, because you're talking about things people know. That doesn't mean any of that facts are accurate. That's like creating crazy conspiracy theories and then passing them off. Not that you have a responsibility, like I said, not that you have a responsibility to tell the truth on this show. This could all be completely fabricated, and just we can admit that it's all our opinion. At the same time, if you want to use the confident tone that you know what you're talking about and then completely make up stuff, that's talking out your ass. And I enjoy watching it. It's very entertaining.
Yes, and I feel like regardless of whether we want it to be that way or not, people are still going to have their own opinion. And sometimes that's wrong. And just that's how culture is created. It might not be the most functional thing.
Bit of a jump, but yeah.
I mean, like the functional thing.
People just deciding what they think is valid.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, like how we perceive history, honestly, is by books, and historical documents and stuff like that. How do we know that there's not a warehouse somewhere with the true documents that actually took place that we are not privy to because of this giant conspiracy Illuminati theory? Like that's the problem.
That's the concept that people that use conspiracy theories stand on, is that there's no way to prove one way or the other, so they choose to believe whatever they want, which is fine. You're allowed to. That's what you're allowed to do in America. You can believe whatever you want to do. Like you can believe that the Easter Bunny comes every year. And, exactly.
If you want to have full freedom, you gotta have the freedom to be wrong. And if you're wrong, and you tell everybody else they're wrong, then that's the price of freedom. It's just we all want freedom, but a certain type of freedom, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think people that don't educate themselves with the concept of history, the concept of science, the concept of verifying things, we will never reach a point where we all are on one page, which is not possible. The real best authors and podcasters and people that are going to stand up and lecture about anything don't do it on their own volition. They can offer their opinion after they give their sources, but you cite all your sources in your presentation. That way you can say, here's what all the great minds that have already talked about this believe, and here's why, and here's maybe their cultural references about the time and context their opinions came out of, and this is what they believe. Now, based on that, and based on my own personal experience, here's what I believe, and that's that person's ideology, and they're trying to inject that into society. That's not the same to say that that's not the same as looking at the past, deciding whatever you want from it, and saying, well, I'm going to do this thing. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but that is not an approach that other intelligent people respect, because you're not already acknowledging what has happened. So you can create your own opinion, but the level of confidence that you have in an unjustified opinion is pretty much directly proportionate to your own value of your ego, which values itself so much. Yeah.
I want to interject by saying like one way of looking at it.
You want to interject?
Is like
in mine? You gonna interject in me?
I'm gonna interject.
I'm gonna interject.
Which
no,
is
you
like
sir.
One way of thinking about it is like the guy's building a ladder or a ring on a ladder.
A ring on a ladder?
A ring on a ladder, like a rung on a ladder, where it's like all the people before him have built up to a certain place of knowledge, so you are standing on the knowledge of everybody else, and you're adding another rung to it based upon getting up that high from the knowledge of all the other individuals. The other could be seen, which could be like religious or conspiracy theories, is like the way to your truth is through a trampoline, and that trampoline gets you to all these places, but yet where you go is not consistent, and you're not going to necessarily be able to like point it out directly. There's nothing concrete about it, so you can't stand on it. You can bounce up towards it and get close to it, but it's like an area. Essentially, like truth is an area of space, and when you're standing on a ladder, you're always going to be in the same area of space. You're going to share that space with all these other people because everyone else can get there, because they can climb the ladder to get to that point. If you have a trampoline and you're jumping to a particular area, you're asking somebody to get to the same type of understanding that you have, but through just using their own imagination or their own imaginative process, not based necessarily on proof or on other people's ideas. So it's asking the individual to like. So essentially, so I'm saying like.
I see what
so
you're
saying. There are two approaches, which I happen to agree that I think the latter way is the better approach. One is essentially faith or imaginative based. The other is observational and scientific based, which also ends up being spiritual if you take it far enough. But if you start on the other end, you are jumping to conclusions. You're jumping, out into the space that is truth and trying to grasp truth rather than building up to that truth.
What do you think, Neal?
I think that's like trying to paint a wall with a trampoline versus a ladder. It's like, yeah, if you add another rung, you can paint up a whole nother layer. But as I don't know. I think it's interesting analogy. But I'm just pointing a finger at, if you want to actually talk with confidence, there's no one that's going to stop you. In fact, that's why children are often looked at as some of the most confident people until the world, other people or the world itself reinforce its standards on them. So you can be as confident as you want. It doesn't convince the intelligent people that you're correct, because intelligent people don't value the confidence over the facts. And what the facts are is what we've all agreed to be true. The tricky thing then becomes with morality is that if you're just basing your own idea of what's true based on what everyone else is true, then you can very quickly get misled. So especially when it comes from people who say things that are not fully researched, then it's like, okay, well, somebody who's younger than you who watches this might act, but we're not a news show. We're not responsible. This is just our opinions and our talking about what we randomly know, referring to all these things anyway. So it's not like anyone's going to come after you.
Which is a lot of what our history has been developed by, right?
By what?
The telling of a story, the telling of a record, and they claim to be true in these specific terms. Atlantis was a real thing to Plato, right? Plato. And so therefore we consider it as a real historic recollection of a real event versus, hey, on my journal, I was like, I met a fucking fairy in some faraway land in my closet. It's like, okay, motherfucker was fucking tripping or some shit. So there's certain credibility we give to certain people. And that credibility stems from their library of work. Their library of actual events that we have more documents to. So verification is a huge part of deciding what is true and what's something that is grounded with more evidence, right? So by those factors, we've decided that certain things in history have more evidence together to prove that Atlantis lived or existed versus let me take you on this ride. Versus thinking that, okay, it was a fantasy world of this guy that was very intellectual, that talked about other events that actually took place. We have other evidence for, but this one very specific, very like grandiose, we haven't had proof for it. It's not credible. There's not enough evidence for it, except for, for example, what's that guy that just Grant Harris, or not Harris, Hancock? Who is it? He just made a documentary on Netflix. I forget. The Ancient History or something like that.
Okay.
And he spoke about Atlantis and how it's in this particular place in the Sahara where it's called the Eye of something, of the Sahara or something. I need to educate myself more on this. Anyways, there's theories out there. They're not considered truth, but they're the closest thing to truth.
Okay.
So by that factor and that metric alone, a lot of where we come from is like a mystery.
Oh,
That's where I come from. So our idealized version of what reality is not grounded in solid ground. It's this fucking like...
It's pretty solid, dude. We've been around long enough to you can trust actually our origins. Like, what do you mean?
I mean that in the next 100 years, I can tell, I can say that's true.
What?
I don't think we have gone far enough. I think the levels of representations of evidence that show how we created the pyramids are not explaining the story well. We haven't figured out certain things we figured out thousands of years ago. How is that possible? How is it that something we created thousands of years ago we can't create now because it's just too costly? And they spent
we can create better stuff
and more useful stuff for society, but yet they spent their entire life creating this pyramid. Why?
Good for them. They want to stack up
because
stones.
they didn't have TV, bro, or the internet, and they had
I
a bunch
totally
of people
agree
that
with
kept
that.
growing out of control, and the pharaohs were like, and that's the whole. Really, in my mind, that's the whole analogy of the Freemasons and all that. The real way to keep people happy is to keep them occupied with a purpose, and that's why the term layperson comes from the bricklayers, because the oldest job in the world is get all these people to lay these bricks. We'll show them how to make them, and they stand. And that's essentially what the pyramids were on a grand scale. They built these great cities to keep these, and according to the the Bible, that was the methodology of city building. And these people left, and that was the origin of the Jews and all, their whole story of the Hebrews. But it's like they were slaves that were sitting there doing this work, I'm not saying that's directly connected to the pyramids, but my point stands, which is like they were doing work for these other people, and slavery was a very normal thing for entire societies that were captured by other countries, so, other empires. So it's like, how did they do that? They had all the time in the world to do it, and they had no other thing to do, and they would clock in every day, and that was how their society run. That's how they would make bread for their families and grow their little Hebrew people, and it's like,
Yeah, I mean, there is some level of ground that the story today is based on. It does make sense that slavery was a huge part, and these people had nothing better to do but pull these
Not that they had nothing better to do. They were forced to do it, dude. They were like
forced to do these 100-ton blocks of square and put it all together in some fucking remote place in the fucking forest.
Why is that so unreasonable?
Yeah, because we didn't have TV, so we're gonna do this instead, right? Even if that's true,
that's an oversimplification. But the point is that it's like they were literally slaves that did a lot of it.
Right. And there was thousands of them and hundreds of them, and they never thought, hey, there's more of us than them, so let's not retaliate, because I think there's a different meaning. That's all I'm saying.
What do you think it means, then?
I think there was something involved with high levels of technology in that time that was not connected with societal norms, connectivity, and developing the human society. It was more of like doing this job and then getting it done. And then whoever gave them the tools left with the tools, They're like, we're not going to leave you this fucking sweet fucking saw that cuts through these fucking giant things. We're just gonna leave these.
So we got Rick and Morty. Somebody came here and did a bunch of cool shit and left.
Yeah, I like that. I like that theory more.
We are still haven't gotten off this rock, dude. We're still only ever lived on this planet. It's like
allegedly we went to the moon. You don't believe in the moon?
Yeah, but the moon's not a planet. I mean, like this is the only planet we've ever lived on.
So like the moon's not it's inhabitable.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying it's not a planet. Like Earth is a planet where it provides for us and gives us life automatically.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Earth. I mean, the moon isn't inhabitable in our natural state.
Right. That's true too. What do you think, Grant? Are you cold? You look cold.
Nah, I just like putting my hands inside my sleeves.
Anyways, we've been going for quite a while. Is there any closing statements you guys want to make?
Yeah, aliens are real.
I agree.
You can fit every single planet in between Earth and the moon.
That's true too. I agree with that.
We've probably never actually filmed ourselves out of, in outer space.
You don't think so?
I think we've for sure been there.
We've been there, but we haven't recorded any of it.
I think we have crazy advanced space vehicles already, and we're probably already traveling at least within our inner solar system.
We just haven't captured it.
No, we're just not. It's just all government. It's just all people that are like traveling for experiments and stuff. Like there's not going to be any commercial telling about it, but I think we're for sure, or at least there's drones. There's for sure drones that are way more advanced than what they're letting on, and those are traveling in between planets and taking awesome, 28,000K footage or whatever. It's just like the best pictures.
What do you think about
this? This is really a closing statement. Now you're kind of like prolonging it, but we can talk about that.
No, we
also
can pull it another hour. I mean, in a closing statement.
If you're just, I mean, who knows, right?
It's like,
who knows? But I will say the crazy James Webb telescope is the farthest advanced, and like I mentioned earlier, Artemis is going back to the moon.
Artemis.
So they just picked, and one of my coworkers told me why that's important in terms of like Apollo and Artemis are brother and sister, I guess, in Greek mythology. So that's kind of cool. But I mean, it's a lot more complicated than I think people get it credit for, especially when it comes to those sort of high pressures and far distances. The fact that the math allows us to get there now is impressive, and I think we actually do need to, like back to the whole. There's entire cultures that are still sort of what we would consider backwards in terms of just social rights that we say, oh, this is right, oh, that's right, and entire cultures and countries that follow certain religions that don't respect any of that. So I think that either we'll have to get attacked by an outside source to Earth to actually unify as human beings, or else it'll take another couple 100 years at least for us to amalgamate enough to have a cohesive effort to say like, but who knows, maybe climate change will speed up the fact that we definitely need to divide like any cell. Like once you have a certain amount of mass, you divide, so it's like as a species, if we want to survive, we have to go to another place to double our odds of survival on some level. Of course, that's not a fair statement either because the odds can be really low that we survive on this other planet, but
no, I know what you mean though. Yeah. Spread your seed.
And there's a lot, I believe in the fact that like across the galaxy, there's probably lots of sentient life that are at different stages of development. It's just, I forget who came up with the theory of it, but there's the gap between by the time you be able to get to where we're at now and, be able to travel between stars using light speed technology and also just being an organism that is like at the basic stages of life that it's like, that's almost the same distance to where anybody that was at this stage would look at us like biomolecular nothings. They'd be like, why would we stop? I mean, they might be observing us already, but like they're on a different plane to where they can come and go without us even knowing. And they're just observing us like we'd go to a fucking nature retreat and observe grass growing. It's like, you just never know at what level the sentient life has gone to. So
right. That's well said.
All you can really do is trust what's documented to some degree and ask, who benefits? Q bono. Why would they tell us the truth or not on the stage?
That part too.
The proletariat shall rise.
I like to always end the podcast with
a group high five.
Yeah. Right.
Go some more.
Your show's doing great, man. Good job.
My favorite quote, and I'm sure you guys heard it before.
My favorite quote.
100 years. Mario Martinez Show. 100 years.
That's right.
We just talk over each other at the end. 100 years. Your favorite quote. My favorite quote was one Thomas Edison said, "Oh, that's hot." When the light came on, he's like, "Oh no."
Go with the quote, Mario. Say the quote. I want to say my favorite quote.
Can you guys guess?
Your favorite quote?
Yeah.
Something by Sean Connery.
It's gonna be something lowbrow, isn't it? What is it?
I wish it was stupid, but I honestly do believe in it.
Okay.
I believe in love.
It goes as, admire those who seek truth, but beware of those who find it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just some people. That's something that people who haven't found truth say. You know.
But also, like, if that's really your favorite, then you know.
Because I really believe we know nothing.
Well, you don't act like it. This entire show, you've been talking like you know what you're talking about.
Because I need to have my own show to have that confidence. If I don't have my own show,
it's like
if I'm in your show and I'm acting like this, I wouldn't act like that.
So you're saying you do
because
it because it's your show.
It's my show. This is my own universe, and I get to be God.
I make the rules here,
and I make the rules here.
Yeah.
That's right.
The hierarchy.
And then he's gonna cut to us like in like dancing costumes.
Yeah.
Like,
I can literally put cat photos on your faces
the whole time
and be like, "This is who I was talking to."
Every time we talk,
yeah.
Dude,
and I am
back
God.
to my opinion.
I'm super jacked all the time, carrying a lightning
bolt. The Rock's body.
Dude, that's what
I'm a fucking Zeus.
The Eric
stick around and raise kids.
Imagine if you took it to the Eric Andre level. Just cut.
I love having this podcast with you guys. We need to do this more often.
Dude,
I love hanging out with you guys. I think the reason why I live with you guys for so long is because I really do value your opinion. And I'm so happy that I can have you guys on my show. And thank you for being on for so long. And I look forward to doing this again every time. Honestly, I love it.
I'm never coming over here.
I didn't know what to tell you, so I'm going to wait till the end.
Good game.
This is it for me, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.
Run the graphic.